Oh, hey, bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. And happy Tuesday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon. And welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, the show we basically get into all the things going on in pop culture, entertainment news, whatever's floating around on this here social media. We chat about it on this good old show. So before we get started, can you please do me a solid, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And we have a whole lot of tea that we got to get to today. Well, how's everybody feeling, by the way? Are y'all feeling very demure, very mindful? Everybody's running around saying that stupid ass thing. I mean, congratulations to the girl that's gone viral and she was able to pay for her surgery and all that other stuff because she's feeling very demure, very mindful, talking about her stuff. And she was on Jimmy Kimmel yesterday, which was guest hosted this whole week by RuPaul, because RuPaul actually had the top 3 from season 16 on Jimmy Kimmel as well. And it had me wondering, I'm like, should Mama Ru get back into the whole talk show circuit? Because remember, once upon a time, she had a show on VH1 back in the 90s, which I used to watch religiously because back then, before, there was a drag race and stuff, I was obsessed with RuPaul. And I loved all things about Ru because he was one of the most popular, like next to Divine and so many others. Well, I guess Divine, we could put her in that category because Divine was a movie star. But next to her, she was Ru was the most famous drag queen in the world, especially in the 90s. So I'm like, maybe Mama Ru need to get back into the talk show game. I mean, she did try to bring back a talk show at one point. It was a daytime talk show, but that show was horrible. It wasn't good. She was trying to, it felt like you were trying to give me Nambia Ho Renge Kyotis when you were doing that show. And it just wasn't fitting. Like if we're going to do shows, if we're going to do late night and have some homosexuals up in there, it need to be fun. Like, well, first of all, I'll say for me, when I get my late night torture, because that's the dream. I want hot ass men on my show. I want go-go boys. I'm gonna need a sponsor for them to wear the underwears. We probably get Chulo, maybe Andrew Christian. Although they would say Andrew Christian discriminate against, men that aren't like a size 2. But and then he don't really diversify his portfolio. But any underwear people of color. Does Deviant do underwears? I think they do. I think I've seen something other. They do a little fashion stuff. I'm gonna find some queer people of color to be the sponsor. I need a late night. When I do my late night talk show, I want something where there's like a cross between. And we could do a late night thing, but I need a little edgier. Like I said, I need a go-go dancers up there. We're gonna have drag queens on the show. We're gonna have openly gay artists. We're gonna have all kinds of stuff. Like it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be fun. It needs to be drinks flowing, that sort of thing. It's got to be a fun ass show. And I was just thinking, I was like, maybe it would be good that RuPaul would be back on in late night if she decides to do it. But then we need a little more representation. Like RuPaul can't be the only one out here making coins for the gays and giving the gays entertainment. Like we need we need to diversify our portfolio. So there was so I was like, well, that's cute or whatever that I got to see her on the show. I mean, on Jimmy Kimmel guest hosted for the week, and then having the top 3 girls on there. I didn't really watch it. I heard about it because I was like, did Ru ask, Nymphia about being on her damn phone at the meet and greets? Inquirer minds want to know. But speaking of which, we do have a lot of tea to get to. We got to talk about Michael Keaton saying that he's not upset that Batgirl got shelved. He said he got his check, the shit cleared, so he don't care if y'all don't see the movie. Now, queer representative Star Wars series The Acolyte was canceled after 1 season. Who didn't see that coming? We got more details, speaking of Disney, on this whole Beau DeMayo drama that's been going on with him and Disney. His attorney, Brian Freeman, is speaking out and spilling tea on the details. All the allegations that Jeff Snyder, who does the N Snyder, and I've been following him all over the internet for years. Back when he used to do stuff with Collider, I was following Jeff Snyder. But apparently, he was the one that spilled all the details about stuff that they said Beau DeMayo was doing at Disney. And word on the street is that ain't the only network that he was doing that stuff to, that he was doing it at other places before this whole tea came out with Disney. So we're going to get into that. Plus, Matthew Perry, there's more tea coming out about him, talking about he was found unconscious at least 2 times prior to his death. And his assistant was how much ketamine he was shooting up in him per day. I gagged when I saw that. And then plus, we got to talk about Russell Simmons. So Russell Simmons took to social media because people have been dragging all the celebrities that have come to visit him. You know, people like MC Lyte, people like Usher, people like Taraji P. Henson most recently. And he started spilling tea. And he said, first of all, he ain't hiding in Bali because he's been flying back and forth out of the United States for years. Y'all just ain't been paying attention, including the government. So he said that. Plus, we're going to bring up, because I didn't feel like talking about it yesterday, but maybe I'm in a better mood today. Teresa Giudice was not asked to leave Real Housewives of New Jersey amid the whole shakeup situation. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, speaking of feuds, because, you know, them siblings, you know, Teresa and Joe be over there feuding. They don't get along as siblings. Child of siblings over at the Braxtons is feuding. So Tamar and Towanda got a little beef going on. I was watching the recent episode. The fans have weighed in on it, and I have my thoughts. So we got, you know, a lot of people who had, you know, I got the commentary, I got all the tweets and things of that nature, because, you know, we love giving the court of public opinion, and then I give my opinion on the court of public opinion. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Angelina Jolie's and Brad Pitt's daughter, Shiloh, was granted a name change. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, sad news for my girl Topanga. Apparently, Danielle Fishel revealed she had a breast cancer diagnosis on her recent podcast, Pod Meets World. If y'all not listening to that show, y'all don't know what y'all missing, because, you know, that was my show growing up. But hearing like so much of the revelations and things going on, it's just good to live your childhood over again. I feel a little nostalgic, but I think those of us who, once you in your 30s and going into your 40s and that sort of thing, I think we all kind of get that way in regards of like the nostalgia and looking back on the things that we loved growing up and valuing it even more. Oh, and then we got to talk about Blake Lively. Like, they really trying to cancel this girl left and right. Like, apparently they went so far as to dig up when she did a photo shoot with Leighton Meester from Gossip Girl, and literally she used the tranny word, and people trying to say she's transphobic. Mind you, this was 10 years ago, but we're going to talk about it. So people are calling her out because she used the tranny word 10 years ago. So we're going to talk about that, of course. And the other day we talked about Boy George and this not documentary, this biopic that's coming out called Karma Chameleon. Well, I saw that some names have been thrown around, courtesy of Variety. So we're going to entertain those names and see what y'all think. And I'm going to give my thoughts. And then maybe y'all could even throw in the comments who y'all think should actually play Boy George on the big screen. So we have that. Plus, last but certainly not least, Chappell Rona's calling out weird and entitled fans for requesting photos with her, saying that just because she's famous, you are not entitled. You are not entitled, not titled. You're not entitled to get a photo from her or an autograph. We'll talk about it. So that and a whole lot more. But as I stated before, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also smash that notification button. So that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Evelyn Unfiltered. Now, without further ado, let me hit my banners. And let's see who is here. Oh, you said, hi. You said, I tagged you in the video of RuPaul for getting Nympia wins. Now, hold on now. Why am I not surprised? Because you know that bitch always forgetting somebody's damn name. Oh yeah, I didn't see the whole. I haven't even checked my TikTok. But yeah, I probably should have. Oh yeah, I seen it. You did send me something. Hold on, let me see if I can actually put it up on here. And you want to know something? But then again, I'm kind of scared that maybe I would, if I open it up on here, that I might get flagged. I don't know if that's a good idea. If I should open that though. So maybe I shouldn't. I'm getting a lot of people saying who follow me. I want to see like where the videos at. Oh, I see it.
Well, look at you all, how beautiful you are. Now, look at you. Now, when you got applied to Drag Race, what did you want to achieve with that? Sorry, what did you want to achieve? And now I call you Banana because you're always very yellow. And then Sapphira.
Oh, can y'all hear this?
Yes, yes. Now, listen. What are you doing next? What's going on with you next?
Because I can't play it.
Yeah. Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do on the show? Do you have any regrets? Well,
So you say you. Girl, her name is Nympia.
Look at you.
She trying to say, bitch, she trying to say your ass ain't memorable. That's what she's saying. It's like she wasn't memorable at all. She was like, you can't remember Nymphia's name. But what I don't understand, I guess maybe because she's so used to having the having the thing in her ear. I don't know, because sometimes when I be playing things, the mic don't want to pick it up, and I be like, oh, maybe that'd be a good idea if I could pull up the thing with Tamar and them. In regards of that whole thing with her and Towanda. So that way I could play it. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but you know what? I'll do that when I get around to it. So that's what I said, quiet as it's kept, because you said she got about 5 seasons left in her. And I think at this point, they need to pass the torch. But who would be a good successor to Drag Race? I have a strange feeling that they're going to do what they did. We already know. I don't think they'll ever put another drag queen in the situation. They'll probably make Michelle take over and then have her surrounded by other Drag Race judges, and they'll judge it up that way, and they'll just call it Drag Race. They'll just rejudge the name, because I do agree. Like, I'm not expecting you to remember every single person that is on the show. I'm not expecting you to remember all their names, because trust and believe, I can't remember half them broads that be on freaking Drag Race. But when you think about it, it's just sort of like, okay, now if you only got 3 girls on the damn show that you're interviewing, you could at least remember Plain Jane, Safira Cristal, and Nymphia Wynn. Like, I can remember that. But then again, I'm half of RuPaul's age. So it is time, child. Now I'm sure you know what, that Drag Race is a well-oiled machine. They'll keep it going as long as they can. But at this point, it's like, yeah, if they do decide to have her step down, they have to put somebody new in. I'm like, who else could they possibly bring in? I would think Bob the Drag Queen or Bianca Del Rio would probably have to be the two that they would look at to bring them in. I was even thinking Sasha Velour, but Sasha Velour is more or less about, she has a play on Broadway or something that she's doing right now. I was trying to see if I can get tickets to it that lasts until about mid-September or something, but I just don't see her wanting to do something like that. I just feel like she's too much of a creator to want to sit and have people telling her ear stuff and all that mess. I mean, I would think Jinx Monsoon actually would be a good choice as well. She's well loved by people. I would say either Jinx Monsoon or Trixie Mattel. Jinx Monsoon, Trixie Mattel, or Bob the Drag Queen. Those are my top 3 that I think that they should stick with if they did Drag Race. Not Brooklyn Heights. Girl, she can't even keep me interested in Canada. So if they try to even bring her over to New York, to me, and I was also wondering yesterday, when I showed y'all that clip on her damn phone, I wonder if she'd be doing that when she, in between takes of Drag Race, she'd be in her damn phone when they be saying, "At action, put the phone down, get to work." As soon as I'll cut, back in that damn phone. Like, she gives me very much like she's very introvert, extrovert, or very much like don't really pay attention to the people around her that she good friends with her phone, more or less than the actual people. But anyway, let's move on and let's get into our first topic, which is Michael Keaton and this whole Batman thing. So Michael Keaton is basically saying he's indifferent about his Batgirl movie never seeing the light of the day. Well, I don't know if they could call it his Batgirl movie, because technically he was only supposed to have a part in it. It wasn't like he was headlining the film. So basically, Michael Keaton recently did an interview with GQ magazine, and he basically said that he's not bothered over the fact that Warner Brothers decided to cancel Batgirl. Because I know a lot of people were pissed off that we never got to see Batgirl, that the movie was never put out in theaters, that they decided to take a tax write-off rather than putting it in the movies. But then again, if the movie start in your mind, you were like, and when y'all were developing, like, oh yeah, it's coming out good. But then when y'all started getting in filming and then they seen footage, and like, this is kind of falling into Madam Web and Borderlands territory. Then I'm like, oh no, we're gonna pull the plug on this piece of shit. Because I know Brenda Fraser was upset. But Michael Keaton's like, well shit, I got my check. I don't care. As long as the check clears, I don't care whatever movie y'all want to put out. It's not, not at the mercy of it. But this is why I think, I'm more or less with people like Chappell Roan, where she's like, you know what, people in Hollywood are weird. I would not want to make no movie because I'm at the mercy of these people. Like, you sit up in here, you film all this stuff, and then when it comes down to the movies, you telling your family, your friends, oh yeah, I did this major film, and then you go to see them in the theater, and then all of a sudden your parts have all been cut, which has happened to a lot of actors. And I remember even Morena Baccarin, who was in Deadpool, all three of them, she talked about an underwater sequence that she and Ryan Reynolds filmed, and she was like, he was just floating, like he was floating on air, which was basically supposed to be the scene when they was in the water. It's supposed to have like this floating in air dream sequence type of situation, and then she went and shot it, and she was like, she got a bacterial infection in her eye because it was it was supposed to be the apartment that they live in. It was submerged in the water, and they were supposed to do this whole sequence. And they had to have open their eyes. So the furniture and the clothing and all the other stuff that was floating around in there, all that bacteria from all the things that you got floating in that water caused her to get an eye infection. And she was talking about how, like, she was terrified the whole time, and she did this crazy stunt, and then they cut it from the damn movie. So I could totally understand being pissed off with some people, but for the most part, Michael Keaton like, well, shit, my legacy is still, protected, even though we could say that The Flash also wasn't a good movie. It's watchable, it's tolerable, but at least it's not as bad as Batgirl. He was in that too. So he basically said that they said, the studio showed the film in August of 2022 in a cost-cutting move. The $90 million budgeted Batgirl was already shot and through post-production when the decision was made, which came as a shock to the industry. Variety reported that a tax incentive was a driving force behind the decision to kill Batgirl. And I think most of the time it's like people was pissed off because they said, oh yeah, well, y'all go and cut the movie featuring a woman of color playing Batgirl, but you ain't thinking about cutting all them other shitty ass films that y'all was making through Warner Brothers, the superhero movies. They could have took a big tax incentive out on what's the other one? The Flash. That wasn't, there was stuff about that movie was a hot ass mess and all that money y'all spent. So why didn't y'all do that? But y'all went after this girl. So that's the way some people was feeling. It's like, oh, y'all come after the people of color, you come after anybody that's not white and male, y'all quick to chop, these other projects. So he basically said, no, I didn't care one way or another. Big, fun, nice check. This is what he said when he was asked if he was disappointed in the film's acting. GQ notes that Keaton was also rubbing his fingers together in the universal gesture for moolah. He said, I like those boys. They're nice guys, he added on a softer note about Batgirl's director Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. He said, I'll pull for them. I want them to succeed. And I think they felt very badly, and that made me feel bad. I'm good. Well, yeah, they would feel bad because they put their blood, sweat, and tears in this film. They directed this movie, and, it never got to see the light of day. Them names sound familiar. I wonder what other movies have they directed. Hold on a second. Let me check. Luckily, I had Google open. They said they're Belgian film and television directors. They're young guys, attractive. I was trying to see what movies. They're Belgian Moroccan. But I could have sworn that they directed. Oh, yeah, they did. That's what I was like, wait a minute. I think they directed the Bad Boys movie, the new one. They actually did. That's why I was like, I know them names sounded familiar. And I also think they directed did they direct Miss Marvel? They said that, Daniel RPK said Bilal Fallah and Adil El Arbi are being considered to direct Spider-Man 4. Any directors are also being considered. And, I don't know. They need to figure out what the hell they're doing with Spider-Man. Because while I like Tom Holland as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I just be feeling like the way y'all been writing that franchise really hasn't been sitting well with me. But yeah, they got to direct the recent Bad Boys Ride or Die. And while I haven't seen it, I know it's on like Prime Video and I can rent it. I haven't gotten around to actually seeing it. I want to see that, and I want to get around to seeing Twisters as well, because I didn't get to see that in the theater, both of those movies. So I definitely want to check those out. But from what I've heard so far, a lot of people said like there's the third act is kind of like tonally, it kind of falls off a bit, but for the most part, it's a relatively solid film. And I definitely want to check it out. But I totally understand where Michael Keaton is coming from. He's basically like, look, I felt bad because it was like, they directed this film, but for the most part, as an actor, like this is out of my hands. Like there's nothing I can do. I don't have control now. But at least I got, paid a good coin for it. So I totally get that, and I ain't mad at him for saying how he feel. I live for the people that's honest. So I said, listen, say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments, and says, didn't someone post recently if he had some drama because of being, we talked about that on yesterday's show. That was one of the topics. I think it was the last topic, actually. So can't wait to see him. Yeah, that was another thing too. I think he was promoting that movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing Beetlejuice in theaters when it comes out. I'm definitely going to go to movies to see that. You know what other movie I was thinking about going to go see too? I was really considering going to the movies to see The Crow. There's really been no promotion behind this movie. I feel like they really haven't been pushing for it. Lionsgate is probably like, yeah, I don't think we're going to make any money off of it. People have been review bombing it on purpose. People have been hating on it. And even though they haven't even seen a frame of the damn movie, from the trailer, it looks relatively interesting. I have to say, like, the only issue I have with when it comes to typical Lionsgate stuff is that Lionsgate goes into this whole situation of like everything because John Wick was such a successful franchise for them. And I did see that there was a story that was floating around that John Wick Chapter 5 was going to start shooting in 2025, but that was quickly debunked by Collider because they said that they can't be filming next year in the early 2025 because Chad Stahelski is going to be filming Highlander with Henry Cavill. So there's no way that they're going to be getting that up and running in that time frame. Plus, we have the Ballerina supposed to be coming out in the summer. There's supposed to be a John Wick Chapter 5 sequel. There's supposed to be a John Wick sequel that takes place after the events of the fourth film as a series, and then we're supposed to be getting a movie surrounded by Kane, played by Donnie Yen. So there's so many different iterations of that world that we're supposed to be getting. So it'll probably be a while, but I have to say, y'all can't wait too damn long because Keanu Reeves about to be 60 on my birthday, September 2nd. So y'all can't, I get like Tom Cruise be doing this crazy. He be flying helicopters, jumping on buildings, doing stupid stunts for the damn Olympics. So, but at a certain age, them bones start getting rickety crickety. You gotta be careful. It's like there's only been so much Keanu Reeves, and we started to see, like as the movies progress, he started getting a little slow with the moves. So I say get him to do as much as he can, but let the stuntman do most of the crazy stuff and not just fall out of a damn window or whatever. But I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see that as well. I need to rewatch the first one before I go see the second one. And I know I think it's on HBO Max, so I need to check that out. Also, they have a Twister on HBO Max, so I need to get around to watching that up there too. Yeah, I never want to say it. The only thing I have to say about The Crow, I did think I said, besides the fact of the whole John Wick thing vibe with the action and stuff, and I do like the visuals in the movie. It looks very dreamlike. I really wish that and I don't know if they probably did do this in the movie, but based on the trailer, I kind of wish they would have kept that whole gothic vibe, because that's what, in my opinion, The Crow is. Like, The Crow is basically, it's got to have that gothic vibe. You can still tell the story in another way, and bring that crazy action and stuff that we didn't get that much of it in the previous film. But I would have liked a little more of that gothic vibe in the Crow, in this new Crow. And I actually even though some people was complaining, I do like Bill Skarsgård's look. I like him with the little mullet. with the side shaved off. It's a cute little look, and I like FKA Twigs in it. You want to know something? I was thinking about this now. I was trying to think of who would make a good Akasha for the upcoming season of that. What was it? Of Interview with a Vampire. They could pick FKA Twig. I was like, she would make an interesting Akasha if they decide if she's going to be a part of that. But I would think she would have to be if they're doing Rockstar Lestat in the next season. So I don't think Lionsgate realized just how much The Crow and Brandon Lee was beloved. I mean, yeah, it's got a cult following, but I will say this. The one thing I don't like is the fact that if there's an IP that exists and you want to revisit it and you want to bring other people, you have to allow other people to play those parts. I understand that people love Brandon Lee as the Crow, just like many people, including myself, love Wesley Snipes as Blade. But at a certain point, people get old, people die, even though, they did kill him on the set of that damn movie. It would have been nice to, like, you have to let other people have the opportunity to revisit those stories, tell those stories, and pass the torch down. Because they can't play it forever. It's like some people mad because they feel like if you're going to bring back A Nightmare on Elm Street and reboot it, then it has to be Robert Englund. I'm like, Robert Englund is old. Like, isn't he in his 80s or in his 70s and 80s? Like, at a certain point, if you want to continue to, if you revive the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and you want to continue to make more of those films, you can't rely on Robert Englund to play that role. I think you would have to take a different approach than what what's his name did, what Wes Craven did. You would have to kind of go more of a approach similar to what Fede Alvarez did with the Alien franchise. You can take that IP, but you can and bring the best parts of those hits in the film, but you have to be able to make it interesting in a way. It was like, tell the story different. Take all the good parts of the film, like they did with Alien Romulus. You take the best parts of Alien callbacks, because people apparently all of a sudden have a damn problem with callbacks. I'm like, they've been doing callbacks in movies for eons. All of a sudden now, people don't like callbacks in fucking films. So I don't mind a callback as long as you can kind of remix it and make it interesting and not just do a freaking Xerox copy like they did with Psycho. But they made the colored one with Anne Heche and what's his name? The other one. I forgot his damn name. But when they decided to remake it, first of all, they thought, okay, so we're gonna make a shot-by-shot remake. I think Gus Van Sant directed it. We're just gonna put it in color, and then what they didn't put in the original film, we're gonna have him peek through the hole, watching Barry Kane take a shower, and gonna have Norman Bates jerking off. Because you could put that in the 60s, but in the 90s and the 2000s, oh yeah, we could show a man beating his dick or imply it. I was like, come on. Like, that's the only thing y'all brought to it, but it was literally a shot-by-shot remake, which is lazy in my damn opinion. But if you want to take the greatest hits of stuff and then just make your own film, I don't have a problem with it. You said it's on Paramount Plus, but I think it's also on HBO Max, because a lot of times some of the movies, they be on the same streaming service at the same time, and then there be times I'll be wanting to watch a movie and I'll be looking for it everywhere and it's not there no more. I hate when that happens. Say Paramount wanted to abandon The Crow after the accident. They were going to do a tax write-off. Or sold the Miramax, alleged dimension becoming major before Scream. And I like the fact that, they had a stand-in come at a certain point. Like, when I watch something where I can't tell who's the stand-in and who's Brandon. So they did a great job. They have DJ Qualls playing him in there's a Rob Zombie series. I like DJ Qualls, though. Did he get married to that guy from Supernatural? He'll do Freddy, but like in a comedy with his appearance on the Goldbergs. Very light, fun. And the funny thing is, recently Heather Langenkamp did an interview where she was talking about that. Oh yeah, he's full of energy and all this other stuff, but she would like to see him. Oh, he's up for playing it. But I think Robert said he's pretty much done with the franchise. Like, he's not interested. Like, at a certain point, he can't be doing all those physicality that he was doing 30 years ago. Well, 1984, that'd be 40 years. What that he was doing 40 years ago. He can't be doing all that stuff anymore. So they need to bring somebody young in. I heard some people say Kevin Bacon will make a good Freddy Krueger. I'm like, I'd like to see him play that part. I actually didn't mind Jackie Earl Haley, but I thought the makeup was terrible. Yo, makeup is terrible. But I love you anyway. A murderer instead of the original version. No, they need to keep him as a pedophile because that's what he was. And I feel like making him a child predator made it way more. It made sense because he was going after kids in the movie. So people feeling touchy-feely about pedophilia and pedophiles, I just think it's dumb because they exist and they're not going anywhere. So because you don't want to offend people or make people feel uncomfortable, it's like horror is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. Or like when people say, "Oh, Alien is political," I'm like, "Where the fuck you been?" Weyland-Yutani it's about a corporation that doesn't care about the people that work for. Like, there's always been politics in that film and in many films. It's just the fact that people are so damn dense. Like, just them say, I just be feeling like it's them same idiots that just discovered demure and mindful. Oh my god, I learned a new word from TikTok. Like, you never read a dictionary? Never read a thesaurus? Have you did you graduate past the 5th grade? Like, come on now. And you said Rob Zombie is doing a series that's going to Max. It's supposed to be how he became. Chill, I may have to look that up because that would probably be a horrible idea. I like Rob Zombie, but his movies just be horrible. And the one thing I don't like about him, like, he gives me Tyler Perry tease. Like, Tyler basically just uses the same type of characters in all his movies. I feel like Rob Zombie does too. Rob Zombie gives me trailer trash. Like, why everybody gotta be trailer trash? Even down to Michael Myers. Michael Myers came from a broken home. His stepfather was an asshole. His sister was a whore. His other sister was just a baby. It was supposed to be Laurie Strode. And then the mother was a damn stripper. I'm like, why everybody got to be trailer trash in his damn movies? And sometimes the killer is just a killer. You don't need to be a reason. You don't need a reason to all of a sudden, want to empathize with the killer or be a killer. Some people just born that way. Speaking of born this way, let's get into this this show. And, cancellations or not seeing the light of day after season 1. Let's talk about the Acolyte. Maybe that's what they should have called it. Maybe they'd probably been more interesting, but they called it Lady Acolyte. So Acolyte has been canceled after 1 season. And according to the report, Pink News, they said after breaking streaming records with season 1. First of all, let's clarify. You broke records with the first episode, but y'all failed to maintain them same numbers week after week. Because like when he was talking about review bombing, that's what happened with the Acolyte. People started review bombing it. I guess there a lot of people on social media making racist comments about it, which because I guess they had a problem with a black girl being in the show and it being centered around her. I'm like, huh? So y'all got a problem with people of color leading like movies and shows? Like, it's always got to be what, white men? So I be wondering about y'all, because the minute y'all be talking about diversity, y'all don't like women, you don't like people of color, you only want white guys. So it's like, are y'all secretly gay? Y'all just want to come out and say it? Because I don't understand this whole notion of guys that just hate women. Or is it that a lot of y'all, can't get pussy? That's why y'all be feeling the way that y'all be feeling. But for me, I say judge a show off of the fact that it's not a good show, that the writing is bad, not because they put a girl in the lead. Or we have to remind her, oh, it's a girl. I can't believe it. You're a strong woman. Like when y'all start pandering doing that shit, it irritates me. It's like, just give us a girl who happens to just be smart, multi-layered, can step up to the occasion when she needs to. This is why I think a lot of people love characters like Sigourney Weaver in Aliens or Trinity in The Matrix, or whatever. She's not, it's like that trade-off. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help you out, you help me out, but I'm not trying to act like that I'm better than you because I'm a woman or I'm a strong woman or a strong black woman. Like when y'all start playing into this whole identity politics stuff and it's really like y'all hammer it on the nose where it's so obvious, I think that's what turns people off more than anything. So they said the series, which was hailed for its queer representation on screen, and was even dubbed the Wokealite. Okay, that's funny. After including a diverse LGBTQ plus cast, including welcoming the first out trans actor to the Star Wars franchise, Abigail Thorne. Now, according to Deadline, production company Lucasfilm has chosen not to proceed with season 2 of The Acolyte, despite the 8-part series breaking the Disney Plus streaming record after its premiere. They said the Acolyte was canceled out over 1 month after the series was wrapped on the streaming platform. The series was launched on June 4th and garnered 4.8 million views on its first day on Disney, leading it to rank as the biggest series premiere on the platform in 2024. Now, TV Line also reported that the first episode garnered 11.1 million views across the first 5 days of streaming. The series beat Disney Plus competitors, including Doctor Who, Marvel's Echo, and X-Men 97 during its premiere. Now, I will say this. Doctor Who, I've been trying to get around to watching that because I like the actor from Sex Education that's on it. I think his name is Giudice. So I definitely want to get around to watching it. I don't know how well the ratings have been doing on that show, but I know they've been talking about another season. So I guess it's done well enough that they are greenlighting a second season. Marvel's Echo, well, I liked the Native American theme. I also liked the Native American music that they was playing up in there as well. I felt like Echo was not a good show. First of all, they just threw all the episodes up there at once. They only did 5 episodes. It just felt rushed. It felt incomplete. It just felt very much throwaway. Like Disney Plus just didn't give a shit about the show. And if you don't give a shit about your show, then why should the people at home watching? And then it just didn't make sense. Like y'all built Echo up all the way to the end, and then the end, all of a sudden it's like she gains this power and she's able to take out. It was like Kingpin. I was just like, okay, this is just dumb. But I like the actress that played Echo. But that show, justice for Echo, basically. That show deserved better. And then, of course, I liked X-Men 97. And we're about to get into the whole Beau DeMayo follow-up stuff after this story. So they say even after bigots and angry fans attempted to review bomb the show, with Forbes adding that low approval rates were linked to the racism, misogyny, and overall harassment of the cast, which has poisoned every conversation about the show, it still scored a solid 78% with critics. However, its success failed to be maintained. In its third week on the platform, the show dropped out of the top 10 and stayed below its most popular shows until returning at number 10 after the release of the finale. Probably because people wanted to see how the show ended. Now, I will say this. It started out strong. It started out really good, in my opinion. But halfway through the show, they started making character decisions and plot decisions that just did not work and made no sense. And I remember I would watch people who were huge fans of Star Wars that would just tear the show apart. Because they're like, for plot wise, it doesn't make sense why they would make the decisions that they would make. So the show was a hot ass mess. And it just seemed like a lot of the people who work within that, or people who are Star Wars aficionados, they're like, who are these people that's working on these shows? Because y'all just be making shit, like pulling stuff out your ass, basically. And overall, those people who really are fans of Star Wars, they weren't coming at it from a place of misogyny, racism, all that other stuff. They're open-minded in that way, where there's not a problem if you have a strong character, female, whatever, LGBTQ, LMNOP, whatever the case is. But if the plot-wise, it doesn't make sense, and y'all just doing dumb shit for the sake of shock value or a moment, but it doesn't make sense while you're doing certain things. And then the episodes they were talking about weren't even long enough. Like you have episodes that literally were like 30 minutes, but the credits and stuff ran for like a damn good 6 minutes. So half the show was freaking credits. So it was just a mess on Disney part. And I feel like right at this point, what Disney needs to do, y'all need to do better in regards of how your shows are, because your shows are a hot ass. Like it just feels like that Disney kind of treats a lot of their shows as an afterthought. Like y'all really don't care about a lot of the product that y'all put on y'all damn channel. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all surprised, or y'all shocked that the Acolyte has been canceled after 1 season? I do kind of wish that, I have been noticing this pattern where a lot of people have been talking about that shows with a lot of queer representation on their show, shows featuring a lot of queer representation are being canceled, especially when you go on like channels like Netflix and things of that nature. And it's like, I don't know what it is. I guess, a lot of people are getting irritated for the fact that they don't want to be preached to, which is like, I don't like to be preached to either. I don't care what characters you put on there. The story has to be the one that is the foundation. The characters have to be interesting, and the writing has to be on point. It's like, I love House of the Dragon, but that season pissed me off because it felt like, first of all, it should have been 10 episodes. You cut it down to 8. And then that last episode just felt like a damn trailer for the next season. So that disappointed me. I was like, it was a solid season, but y'all pissed me off. But look, we still got The Last of Us, and there's some LGBTQ representation on that show. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have comments. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. I did see that. The Halloween movies he did was trash. I agree. Now, I will say this. The first one wasn't so bad. I did like the fact that he changed it up a little bit with the first movie. That second film, I'm like, the fuck is going on in here? Like, it made no sense. I was irritated by that movie. And I'm still pissed at him with the way that he did Octavia Spencer character in that damn movie. I'm like, the way that Michael Myers was killing her ass in that damn hospital made no kind of fucking sense. The way he was going so ham on her with that knife. Like, it made no damn sense the way you was treating her in that film. I mean, I'm sure it was probably a good check, but I'm still mad at him over that. He said, Rob Zombie backstory, Michael Myers, I didn't need at all. Plus, his wife can't. Who you telling? I guess that, you know what? She must got some good coochie because he over trying to put Sherry Moon in some damn movie. And it's like, well, just stop putting her and stuff. She's not a good actress. Just let her, just be a wife to your husband and just, you know, get your little payouts or whatever, your little weekly allowance and keep it pushing. I can't believe you sat and watched his version of the Monsters, because you couldn't pay me to sit through that foolishness. Anyway, let's move on. Looks like a remix of Apple will feature not Katy Perry. Probably because I saw a recent interview with Katy Perry where she was praising Charlie XCX and talking about Brat Summer and all that other stuff. So that's probably why she's working with him. Because no shade, I wouldn't work with her behind. It said 20 seconds of Gaga song. I'm gonna have to be honest. I did not like it. Like, it's a cute song, whatever, but it's just like, it's boring. Like, which is typically what you're gonna get from a Bruno Mars. I need him to get back on the booger sugar if he stopped doing it, because I need to get some exciting music out of him. Maybe the cocaine was helping. Like I said, Nicki announced Pink Friday 2 Deluxe. That's why it left Billboard 2. I did see something or another that she was tweeting about Pink Friday 2, but I wasn't really paying attention to that. But I guess maybe she's doing that because she's doing this new lap of a tour. So she needs new music that she's gonna add to that. She's probably gonna add like maybe a half a dozen songs to it, and so she could perform that on the tour. I just need her to be a little tighter in regards of like her performances and not be having fans waiting 5 minutes between set designs and stuff for her to come out on stage. They need to do retry Out TV or Here TV. We're a niche audience. Shudder announced 2 new seasons of Creepshow and Slasher. 2 seasons each cost because they don't expect a lot of views because they're small. I mean, I think you meant Reverie, Revry. I'm subscribed to them, but I really haven't really been watching a lot of their stuff over there. I don't really watch Here TV, so I wouldn't know what kind of content they have over there. And in regards of Out TV, I do watch Out TV. I did watch a lot of, their show For the Love of Dilfs and also. Speaking of which, they had Nick Mask on this show called The Wild Podcast or something or other, where it's these straight boys that all of a sudden kind of play in gay spaces because it's getting them a lot of attention and a lot of views and I guess a lot of money because they're young and they look barely legal. It's that damn Austin Wolf shit with our community, where it's just like, but it's like they're playing in our space. They get a lot of fame and everything, and they're cool kids or whatever. But it's just the way that these gay for pays be going about shit using our community, it always rubs me the wrong way. But anyway, they had Nick Mask on there, and I was like, well, why didn't they ask him about him being on the last season of For the Love of Dilfs? But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about the latest on this whole Beau DeMayo X-Men 97 drama. So, Beau DeMayo's attorney is addressing the allegations made against his client. Now, a few days ago, We did talk about on the show that about, Beau DeMayo had went on social media and he was basically asking, not asking, but he was basically, he revealed something or another where he posted him dressed as Cyclops, but sexually suggestive, like it was showing his, look at my body, look at my body. That's what it was giving. And he was basically saying that he was so grateful that worked on X-Men 97, collaborating with some amazing, talented folks. Creating the revival was a dream come true, and the support fans have shown is touching. But he said he felt pressed to speak up in the wake of leaving the show, which I believe there was a clause or something or another that was implied that he was not supposed to be speaking out against whatever the reason of his firing was going on at Disney. But I guess he was talking about that his credit for season 2 was being pulled because of something that he posted on Pride Day, like during Pride Month or whatever, which was a photo that somebody did of him, fan art of him dressed sexually suggestive as Cyclops. So then Jeff Snyder from the Snyder, who I've been following for years, basically started spilling tea and saying that what he heard behind the scenes that he was fired because he was allegedly sending nude photos of himself in sexually suggestive hero poses to several young male staffers while working on X-Men 97, saying they could be used as inspiration. When it's like, you should just create it I don't say like a mood board. Like you can create like a board or whatever where it's just like, okay, you for your inspiration for different characters and all this other stuff. You can be like, okay, this is the inspiration I got for this. Have this drawn up or whatever the case is. You actually taking new sexually suggestive poses of yourself as inspiration is a form of sexual harassment, especially when you are the boss and you're sending this stuff to people. And I know like Hollywood definitely works on a different plane than other jobs. However, with all this crackdown of Me Too and Time's Up and all this other stuff, you can't be doing that. So that was the story that was coming out of why he was doing all of this or why he was fired from Disney Plus. They also said that he allegedly groped an assistant multiple times and emotionally and physically abused other staff members while working at on X-Men 97. And they also said that this wasn't the first time that Beau has done this, because when he worked on The Witcher, he was fired for similar behavior. So shout out to Bleeding Cool for this story because they had the full tea. And I was like, with y'all having the full information, of course, I got to come on here and tell y'all what the latest is. So they said, in terms of the public war words between X-Men 97 creator/writer Beau DeMayo and Marvel Studios, things have been pretty quiet since the end of last week after attorney Brian Friedman issued a statement on behalf of DeMayo. But that didn't stop the rumblings on social media, with rumors, gossip, and allegations regarding the controversy continuing to thrive. Now, earlier today, the streamer shared a text of the email it received after reaching out to Freeman for a response to some of the allegations in play, saying, "You realize that Disney allowed Beau to have an OnlyFans page while working for the company. No clue if someone quit while he was showrunner, but that's like every single day and every single show." Read the opening text of the email reportedly from Freeman's that was posted by the streamer. "My client never sent lewd videos and photos to his direct reports. That is a bold-faced lie and defamatory." Freeman continued. They said, "No one who reported Beau to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. That is simply untrue. As a proud Black gay man, Disney knew exactly who he was and what he stood for. That's why they did not tell him to stop his OnlyFans page. They let him be himself, which allowed his creativity to thrive. When they objected to his free speech rights and not complying with the legal NDAs, a certain person over there tried to replace him because he was becoming more successful than other creators, as Disney, if his separation agreement illegally silenced him. Let me know what they say," Freeman asked. "Don't print this crap. It's wrong and defamatory." Now, by now, we all know the basics that went down earlier this year between X-Men 97 series creator/writer Beau DeMayo and Marvel Studios. Now, heading into the premiere of the hit animated series, the news broke in March that Marvel Studios had parted ways with DeMayo, surprising many. With neither side commenting on the matter or offering a reason for DeMayo's termination, fans were left to speculate, though DeMayo continued support and promotion of the series over the course of his run between March and May, left many believing that both sides had decided to move on. In fact, Brad Winterbaum, head of streaming, television, and animation at Marvel Studios, noted that some of what DeMayo laid out for the second season would be reworked, followed by reports that Matthew Chauncey, who was behind Marvel's What If, would be taking on the role of head writer for the third season. And that usually goes and happens that when you work on a show, whatever, they do rework certain things so that way, you know, to make it fit in with whatever narrative that they're working on while doing a show. So, but now they're trying to say that, oh, he was fired due to racism and homophobia and the fact that there were certain people that were behind the scenes that didn't like the fact that Beau was becoming successful because of the success of X-Men 97. And I'm sitting there like, so y'all got a problem with people of color and homosexuals being successful in Hollywood? What, they all got to be gay and white? And those are the only ones y'all want out here making a difference and being successful and stuff? And my thing is this, if they could actually prove all of this in court, that there was no agreement or whatever the case was, that they illegally tried to silence him, then you know what, bring those receipts. But I don't understand, like, if this is the stuff that they were doing from the beginning, how come Beau allowed them? Like, he just went along with it. Okay, I'm gonna just let y'all fire me because of some BS shenanigans behind the scenes. Like, me personally, I would not stand for somebody just soiling my name or being like, oh, we're just gonna fire you because all of a sudden now we got a problem with you doing OnlyFans content or post or being sexually free with yourself, which shouldn't be a problem of what people do outside of the job. Should not have any concern with you. But if Beau was running around being inappropriate with other staff members and illegally groping an assistant, which I guess with the assistant thing, that can be proven. That's basically like he say, she say. But if there's actual evidence that y'all got of texts, receipts, you know, very much, if we got to do like what they did over there at TGIF, where they had receipts of text messages and things of that nature, that y'all could scroll back and look up and pull up and present that in the court, then Beau doesn't have a leg to stand on. But if he bringing somebody like Brian Friedman in, then he's got a lot that he could prove. So, you know, they said on August 16th, Friedman issued the following statement to Deadline Hollywood on behalf of his client, saying, having much experience with Disney, the playbook is always the same, family-friendly on the outside, but secretly attempting to paint illegal, unconscionable items in contracts and silence the truth and stop the employee customer from asserting basic constitutional rights. This is what he shared, as we will explain through detailed examples, which we will roll out in detail one by one. Disney's model is very clear and a repetitive illegal pattern. Once it gets challenged or exposed, the gaslighting and redirection of the blame towards anyone willing to tell the truth starts through an international well-oiled publicity machine. Beau DeMayo wants nothing from Marvel/Disney except the truth. He will bravely tell the truth, and so will I stand by. And I saw there were some people on social media talking about, even pundits, well, he would have just kept his mouth closed, that he wouldn't be in the situation he in now, that they wouldn't be trying to silence him and they wouldn't be trying to blackball him. Because I was reading that stuff online, and one friend was calling him Spicy Caliente or whatever the case is, because allegedly he's a colorist and all this other stuff, and there's been inappropriate tweets that he's been posting online. And my thing is this, I don't know the man heart. I don't sleep with him. I don't know how he feels about people of color, whatever the case is. That's what he got. Look, he got to answer to that person upstairs, that in the universe, in the sky. When he closes his eyes, that's what we got to answer to in regards to the self-hatred on the part of being homosexual and on the part of being a person of color, if you got a problem with that. But for the most part, discrimination is discrimination. If Disney, you was out here discriminating against people, then yeah, your feet need to be held to the fire in regards of how you was out here treating people during his time of, you know, working for y'all. So I say, well, let's say, what do y'all think of this story? I mean, that was a little bit of some stuff that we got out of the situation for now. And I guess, you know, I'm going to keep abreast of this story as it develops, because I'm sure that this story is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So that was just a little bit of some new stuff that I ended up hearing. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And he said, here TV has The Lair, Dante's Cove, an exclusive to Queer as Folk 20th anniversary reunion and 4K remaster of the Showtime series. I used to watch The Lair and Dante's Cove. That was my show back in the day. I mean, yeah, it was terrible. But overall, I did watch it. Oh, okay. So I found it because I was like, let me find the audio and stuff for the Braxtons. We all the Braxtons, and you'll see her. Okay, so I got that. And then so now it's like I'll have to play the audio and let me know if y'all can hear it when I play it. Because I was like, yeah, if I pull this up, I can play the audio, but I can't like show the thing because you know these channels and stuff, they be trying to demonetize when we start posting things. And so also they took his producer credit. They took his producer credit for season 2. And it's like, and they were saying that because of the Cyclops photo that somebody made of him. And it was saying that he did it during Pride Month. And he's like, you know, I take pride in being a openly gay man. And for y'all to try to sit up in here and make me hide that, especially because of this whole Disney situation, because, you know, Disney's supposed to be wholesome, family friendly. I'm like, we get that, but there are gay families out here too. There are homosexuals, lesbians, and gays, and even trans people who are raising children. So there's members of the LGBT LMNOP community that are raising kids. And y'all can't sit up in here and try to act like, you know, they don't exist. And so that's why and so he probably felt like, you know what, they discriminate against him. And my thing is, I don't care how big your damn company is. If y'all out here doing shenanigans, then you need to be called out. So with these pundits out here that be getting these interviews with, you know, these celebrities or whatever, of course they're gonna be like, well, if Beau should have kept quiet or whatever. And it's like, say what people can feel how they want to feel about Beau and some of the problematic things that he did put on social media. But if you're discriminated against, he has a right to be heard and has a right to present his case in court. So I try to be fair on both sides. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Matthew Perry, who we got some more tea on the situation, which I was like, it's so weird to me. I was like, this man was an addict for years. But of course, they were saying like because he had enablers around him, and you know, being someone who's a celebrity, rich, and has a way of getting, you know, you have access to a lot of things, including all the best drugs, and you don't even have to like scrounge like regular people do for their drugs. Celebrities have that easy in, like they can find the fiercest doctor who could basically get them the drugs that they get. So now you got his assistant and people, his doctor and people who, you know, were in his inner circle have been placed under arrest because they're saying that they enabled his drug abuse. But then again, it's like, he's a grown man who, of course, is an addict, so it's going against your better judgment. But if people want that high, they're going to get it whichever way they can. So now there's this thing, and now it's like, okay, if you're giving people drugs and they die from your drugs, now you're going to throw them in prison. So his assistant was spilling tea, because I guess he took a plea deal, in regards of Matthew Perry and what's going on with him. Excuse me, and started revealing more stuff about the situation. So his former personal assistant, Ken Iwamasa, admitted he found the Friends actor unconscious numerous times in the weeks leading up to his death. Now, according to court documents obtained by Us Weekly, Iwamasa injected the Friends star with significant quantities of ketamine in the month he died. Now, between October 24th and October 27, 2023, Iwamasa injected Perry with approximately 6 to 8 shots per day. The plea agreement stated. During the month of October 2023, Iwamasa also found Perry unconscious at his residence on at least 2 occasions. Now, on October 28, 2023, Iwamasa injected Perry with a shot of ketamine at approximately 8:30 a.m. and just 4 hours later injected a second shot around 12:45 p.m. while Perry watched the movie. Then, after a mere 40 minutes, Perry asked Iwamasa to prepare the jacuzzi and told him to shoot me up with a big one, referring to another shot of ketamine, according to the docs. After injecting Perry with a third shot of ketamine, Iwamasa left the residence to run errands for the Emmy nominee. After returning to the residence, he found the actor face down in the jacuzzi. The LA County Medical Examiner Medical conducted an autopsy and later determined Perry's cause of death was acute effects of ketamine. A toxicology report also listed drowning, coronary artery disease, and the effects of buprenorphine, which is used to treat opioid use, as contributing factors. And that's like, you know what, when you injecting all that stuff in you and you got all that stuff in your system, you know it's bound to cause an effect in your body, especially when you're older. Like the drugs be drugging. But why would he need so much ketamine shot up in his body? I don't know the first thing about ketamine. Isn't ketamine like an elephant tranquilizer? Like, why are you taking what? I just don't understand why you need so many damn shots of ketamine. 6 to 8 shots a day? Like, are you crazy? But that's an addict. He said, according to court documents, all the ketamine Iwamasa administered to Perry on October 28, 2023, had been provided by Eric Fleming and his unnamed drug source. Now, in October of 2023, Iwamasa sent a text message to Fleming to ask about purchasing ketamine. According to court documents, Iwamasa referred to himself as Batman's butler. Okay. The same month, Fleming forwarded a screenshot of text messages he exchanged with his ketamine source that stated that ketamine was unmarked but amazing, and his dealer only deals with the high end of celebs. So they're talking about it's unmarked but amazing. How the hell would you know? And then on top of that, the type of ketamine was it really ketamine that you was really injecting him with, or was it something else? Because sometimes, some people could be telling you that that's the assistant. Some of the some people could tell you one thing, but it's not actually what it is. Now, it also said on Thursday, August 15th, authorities announced that Iwamasa, Fleming, Jasmine Sanga, aka the Ketamine Queen, Dr. Mark Chavez, and Dr. Salvador Plasencia have all been charged in a death investigation surrounding Perry. And this is Mark Plasencia right here. Oh, sorry, Salvador Plasencia. I said Mark Plasencia. I combined both the damn doctors. So it said Fleming pleaded guilty on August 8th to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine and 1 count of distribution of ketamine resulting in death. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Central District of California, Fleming admitted in court documents that he distributed the ketamine that killed Perry. Now, according to the United States Attorney's Office, Chavez also agreed to plead guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine. Plasencia pleaded not guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine, 7 counts of distribution of ketamine, and 2 counts of altering and falsifying documents on records released to the investigation. Senga has not publicly commented on the case. Now, Perry's stepfather, Keith Morrison, previously spoke out after 5 people were federally charged for the Friends alum's death, and saying that basically he was heartbroken over Matthew's death and, that sort of thing. But it all goes to show us, like, I can't believe a lot of you doctors, y'all take an oath, you go through all them years of college. I understand y'all got to pay back them student loans or whatever. And a lot of y'all are probably cooking the books, and not cooking the books, cooking your drugs, doing all this stuff, being, drug dealers, which I would think that some of these days doctors are actually professional drug dealers because they got to sign prescriptions, sign the prescription note for you to take to the pharmacy to get your drugs. But then also you're selling illegal drugs or these prescription drugs or whatever the case, or ketamine, whatever kind of other drugs, meth, the meth drips or whatever on the black market, and taking money under the table, feeding these celebrities habits. And this has always been a thing. Like, remember Michael Jackson with his doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray, and all that stuff that was going on with him and his addiction. It was taking the propofol and all that's because he was having problems sleeping. Which I get, because when you're an artist and you got like ailments and pains, which Michael was going through, and was taking prescription medications and had a prescription medication addiction. And then we lost him. because of all that wear and tear he was putting on his body. But this is just a sad situation. And I don't even know, like, okay, so now y'all locking up these doctors and stuff. But I just honestly don't feel like so much is going to change. I feel like it's going to be just the same old, same old. Same thing with gun shootings and mass shootings and stuff that's been happening in this country. Y'all talk a good game. Y'all lock a couple of people up. But then the problem is still not resolved. And that's what I feel like is going to happen with this. Like, y'all arrested the drug dealer that sold Michael K. Williams his, heroin mixed with Fenty. That guy's in jail. Then you got this thing with Matthew Perry. So it just feels like it's just the same old thing that keeps happening, but nothing's been resolved. So I'll say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I mean, it's unfortunate, what has happened, but, I guess this is going to be a thing. A lot of you doctors will have to think twice. And even if these doctors don't go to jail and they're able to get off, I feel like y'all about to be disbarred. Y'all about to lose your job. And you got to go and figure out how you're going to make money because y'all done fucked up the thing because y'all want to be doctors. I mean, because you went and worked all that hard for your MD degree or your MD, your medical degree. You worked so hard for it, only to piss it all away because y'all want to make a little extra money by being drug dealers. Outside of your profession. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so Brown Bunny said deep in that K-hole. Okay, and I used to have friends. Well, I don't know what's going on with that. I've really been hanging out with them in years, but I had friends that used to be in K-holes. They used to do K at circuit parties. That was that's a gay party drug. But I guess any kind of drug is a party drug, right? And the gays use. But I remember, I had a lot of friends that used to go to, the Palladium, Limelight, the Tunnel, a lot of those circuit party clubs, and they would do, they would do K. And every time I go down in the K-hole, and it's just you be thinking, you living your best life. One time they were in their mind, they was oh yeah, they partying, having a good time, dancing up, jumping up and down, all this other stuff. Meanwhile, they were just standing still, holding on to the damn speaker. But in their mind, they was having a party. So, maybe that's the thing that Matthew Perry was doing when it came to going in that good old K-hole. So I tried K in my 20s. I did a couple of times when I was on ecstasy. I tried it by myself. It always made me dizzy. And when I did it by myself, I felt nauseous. Well, I guess when you do those type of drugs, you need somebody there that could keep an eye on you about stuff, with certain drugs. You got to make sure that you're doing certain things when with people that you trust. And don't be doing them crazy drugs by yourself. You will end up face down in the water like Matthew Perry. That was stupid on his part. If you was going to be in a K-hole, if you're going to be shot up with Special K, you should have laid down in the bed or something. How'd you get in the water? That's probably what reminded me that Whitney Houston was doing that too. When she was under the influence of drugs and then she decided to put her ass in the damn tub and drown. Same thing with Bobby Christina. The sky is up. But anyway, let's get into this story about Russell Simmons, who is pleading with people on social media to stop attacking his celebrity friends who visit him in Bali. Now, Russell Simmons has spoken out in defense of Taraji P. Henson in response to backlash the actress has received for visiting him in Bali. Russell Simmons said he wants fans to stop attacking his friends in the midst of the sexual misconduct allegations and the rape allegations. And here's what he said, because he basically was talking about how, did y'all forget? Because he's like, oh, well, y'all quick to go in on him, but y'all be the same ones that be out here defending Donald Trump, who did probably 10 times worse than Russell Simmons has. But y'all out here, y'all here for Donald Trump. Y'all talking, because he gave us stimulus checks. And I'm sitting there because I just saw this in this video of Don Lemon. I think he posted on his Instagram. But also I think it's on, and that took me a second. I'm like, is that Don Lemon? Because he was looking kind of different. Maybe the black is finally starting to crack after how long. He pushing 60. But now I'm starting to see that black starting to crack on Don Lemon. But anyway, he's still holding it together. But the thing was, he was asking black people who they voting for. And some people said, I'm voting for Trump because he got us that money and stuff during the pandemic. And I'm like, Have you ever heard of Google? Like, Google is your friend. If you actually did the research, you looked up, you know damn well Donald Trump ain't give y'all no fucking money. In fact, if this is the same man that will steal money, the inheritance of from his own cousins, you really think he cares enough about giving you dumb ninjas some money? Like these sexy red types, these these old hood booger, no kind of brain having idiots that sit up here and believe this bullshit from these bussy mad ass types that sit up here and think Donald Trump care about y'all. Y'all was a bunch of damn fools. And that's some reason, like, you think Kamala's better? Or they probably say Kamala, because, you know, a lot of these people out here still don't know how to say her damn name. Even one of the boys that, when Don Lemon told him the tea, he was like, oh, well, fuck Trump. If he ain't really give us a thing now, I'm going to vote for Kamala. It's like, now you don't even know how to say the damn lady name. Some of y'all just put your head down and just do your job and just don't speak. Because some of y'all just be out here, you know, like I said before, a lot of dummies in this world, the same ones, you know, these be the same people that just all of a sudden discovered demure and mindful. So anyway, so yeah, he compared his situation to Donald Trump on how y'all quick to defend him, but y'all come at him for, you know, over his celebrity friends hanging out with him, but then wanted to also remind y'all that he got 10,000 black men out of jail and how he registered more people, black people, to vote than probably anybody you know. So he said, and then with somebody he worked with Black Lives Matter, so he's done a lot for the black community, but the black community refuses to stand with him. And he feels it's not right that y'all doing that. But I want y'all to hear from the horse's mouth because I got the clip. Courtesy of the Shade Room. Please hold.
I changed the factory farming industry forever. And then I registered more of you to vote than probably anybody you know. And I worked for Black Lives Matter and every movement that's helped our people, all the women's rights and even gay rights movements that I did so much work for. To let them demonize me in such a way that my friends cannot visit me without you attacking them. But yet you stand next to Donald Trump. Knock it off. I'll be in New York next week. This idea that I'm hiding is stupid. I call a paparazzi of myself every time I'm there. I have an office on Wilshire Boulevard. I'm there all the time. I work out in New York sometimes, but I live here. I live here to heal people. And this is my life. Black people, did you forget that I got 10,000 black men out and to give them spiritual, physical, and mental rejuvenation? But just attacking people who visit me. You have no idea who all have been here, but what you did to a few of the people who visit me. What, are you under some kind of technology? Are you lost? I'm your friend, black people, and I've been my whole life a supporter of all the initiatives that lift you up. Work, my last chapter, is to heal people. Still to date, I've never spoken to a policeman about anything. I've never spoken to a judge, civil or criminal, about anything. From what I can tell, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, President Trump, all have more credible claims against them than I do, if you ask Oprah. Again, I've never been charged with. Who took 9 lie detector tests, 7 of which from the chairman of the polygraphers? Did Bill Clinton do that? Did Joe Biden do that? Did President Trump do that? Knock it off. I love you. I just don't want my friends attacked. And I wish you all the best.
Okay, and I'm sure that there's more to the story. Like, if y'all want to watch all the slides and everything that they have with the carousels, they call it, y'all can go over to the Shade Room and watch all of that. But you want to know something? Regardless of how people feel about him, it's like, yeah, he has been, like, let's look at it. Let's unpack it. He hasn't been charged with anything. There's these accusations that he went around and sexually assaulted. I don't remember how many there was. I don't know if maybe the story pretty much says what the allegations are in regards of how many people. Okay, so it didn't. I don't know if it says like how many women. If it was one woman, it was a multitude of women. But in that case, it's like, yeah, there's always been stories around about Bill Clinton and inappropriate things that he's done. Donald Trump, we already know like how many times he's been charged. He actually has been charged with a felony for sexually assaulting E.G. What is it? What's her name? Is it E.G. King? And then Joe Biden, there's been stories about how he inappropriately touches women, and there have been stories about him touching, like being a little too affectionate with kids. I don't want to say he a pedophile. There's been no allegations. I mean, there's no evidence of that, but that's the implication of the stuff that's out there. Those are the things that's floating around. And if he said that I live in Bali, and he's been living in Bali since 2017 after being accused of sexual misconduct and the R word, and they said so the article says by multiple women. He was also the subject of On the Record, a 2020 documentary centered on the allegations of SA and harassment against him. And, he has 2 daughters with Kimberly Simmons, and he said that he didn't force himself on anyone, that he has taken 9 polygraph tests, and he's been flying in and out of Bali into New York. He called the paparazzi on himself. How come we haven't seen these photos though? Or am I missing something? Because it's like he's saying that I be calling the paparazzi. Maybe that he doesn't. I mean, maybe when he calls the paparazzi and they take these photos, they're not selling them or they're not putting them because it doesn't fit a certain narrative that the media wants to present about other people. Because it's like, yeah, they want all of us thinking that, yeah, he's been subjected to being pushed out of the United States, that he's hiding out in Bali because it sounds more entertaining. It feeds the bees. It fuels a certain narrative. So yeah, they probably are well aware that Russell Simmons, I need my New York people to fan out. Like, do y'all be having Russell Simmons sightings when y'all be in the city, or if he's at his office or whatever the case is? Because he said he'd be up in New York all the time. In fact, from this video, he said he's gonna be in New York next week doing business. So if he's been flying in and out of the United States and he's been freely allowed to do that, and he's not hiding out in Bali like he's Roman Polanski, where he went and fled the country after he was accused of SAing someone, then why are people still fueling this narrative that he's guilty of something if, yes, he has not been charged and he's been able to roam freely in and out of the United States? Because I would think that would be the narrative. Like, they should have been able to lock him up right now if there was evidence of the sort. And I haven't heard from any of the accusers, like, where's this case? I mean, what's happening with it? If he's left the country in 2017, which is almost like, 7 years ago? Then what's going on with that case? Why haven't they, subpoenaed or forced him to stand trial or whatever the case is? Those are just the questions that's got me wondering. Now, I do agree with what he was saying in regards, like, whether you agree or not, or whether you feel, oh yeah, he's a rapist and he's guilty of those things. Do I put anything past Russell Simmons? I would not be surprised. And just because you've done for the community don't necessarily mean that you're not beyond reproach. Because it's like, yeah, you could do so much for the community. There's been a lot of people that have done a lot for the community and turned out to be a bunch of assholes. Bill Cosby, the main one off the top of my head I could think of, did so much for the Black community and pushing this positivity thing forward. Come to find out he was out here roofing people drinks. He did present a positive representation of Black people in his shows, the Cosby Show, A Different World, these other things. And people believe because of the situation where he tried to buy NBC, they feel like, oh, they did this thing to try to take this man down. That's another conspiracy theory. Or how about people just assholes? But we always hear this story that, there's a lot of people that will sit and do all this type of charitable stuff, which is some sort of gaslight and passive aggressive mess. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, that's a smoke screen for y'all to be doing far more sinister stuff. And that's what they're saying that he's about. So, like I said, you would not be on reproach in that regard, in regards of, oh, well, I've done so much for Black people and gay people and stuff. How dare you question me? Or how dare you just come at me? And then people get mad over the fact that people like Usher, people like Taraji P. Henson are visiting him. Pretty much visiting him when they're going out to Bali. People was going in on Usher over that, saying this ain't it. I think I even said that at one point. But hearing it from uh, Russell's mouth, it's kind of gotten me see things in a different way. I mean, I'm still side argue and all this other mess, but at the same time, I feel like that, yeah, we should kind of look at it as like, you know what, he is right in some sort of way. It's like, how come y'all quick to come down to your own people? But when it comes to Trump, and we've seen how much of a racist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, a transphobe, anything that can get attention for him and rile people up with his bigotry and hatred of the others. And that's anybody who isn't white and male and got money. Because he's always chasing a bag. Even though the word on the street is his ass broke. And I'm talking about Trump, not Russell. Then how come y'all not going just as hard on Donald Trump that y'all are on Russell Simmons? It's like we will beat our own down into the ground before we hold everybody's feet to the fire. And I feel like we need to be fair in that point. Like, if we're going to drag people, we need to drag everybody. But I guess maybe because people don't care about Trump. He ain't really do nothing for the community, for the black community, even though you got ninjas out here who talking about they're going to vote for him over some damn stimulus check he ain't really approve of. That was the government that y'all got them stimulus checks from during the pandemic. It wasn't Trump. The only reason why he was holding up because he want to put his name on it. I'm like, it's not even your money. What are you talking about? How you going to put your name on some checks that you sending out to people when this is not even your money that you're giving away? This is taxpayer money. This is the government money. This ain't your money. But he feels like he's entitled to things because he's white and male. So, you know, you may not agree with Russell Simmons on a lot of the things that he says or his belief system or the things he's about or whatever the case is. But you know what? Sometimes I just got to say it. I'm with you when you're right. And I feel like we should look at all sides of the situation and not be so quick to just be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to just go in and hate him. Oh, yeah, he's this. But we don't have evidence of him actually doing these things. And yeah, he hasn't stood trial for any of this stuff yet. But my thing is this: if you ain't standing trial, then why the hell are you living in Bali? Now I understand you giving healing and things, but I'd be like, well, shit. If they're not coming at me, I still live freely in New York. I wouldn't be running out here in Bali with my legs crossed all damn day doing, them damn yoga moves like I'm, Madonna on the reinvention tour. So I'll tell this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Does Russell Simmons have a point, or y'all just saying once a rapist, always a rapist? I had to like, say it the way I had to say it because, the algorithms and things. But look, they was going in, like I said, on Usher, MC Lyte, Taraji, and Lisa Ray McCoy. So, then also I want to ask y'all, if somebody you knew was in a situation where they guilty of assaulting someone, would you continue to stand by them and be friends with them? I don't necessarily know how I would feel. Like, I don't know how to answer that. It's easy to sit and say, oh yeah, they're out of my life or whatever the case is. But I just need to understand the whole thing and look them in the eye and really get down. Like, did you hurt that person? Did you assault? Like, if they really did if I had a friend that caused harm to someone and I thought they were like a really good person, but you was like an old low down sadistic piece of crap, I don't know if I can be friends with you. But there's got to be a reason why people like Usher and Taraji and Lisa Ray McCoy and MC Lyte and some of the other celebrities are standing by Russell Simmons. I'm sure Oprah friends with him too. But then again, she was friends with Harvey Weinstein. So, her judgment is null and void. So let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so we have, I was gonna say questions. We got comments. He said, "Sexy red child." Don't even remind me. I saw that that was mentioned, but I thought she put that stuff out though. Booty hole brown, coochie juice, and yellow discharge. I thought all that stuff came out. But first of all, if any of y'all run out there and get that little nasty stuff, any kind of makeup from Sexy nasty ass STI card holding red, y'all all need to be lined up and sent to a concentration camp or something. Like, y'all need to be just unalived. Because I just don't understand how that old nasty heifer is famous, number one. I don't get it. They say he's sounding like what's that? Oh, You said a gun was pointed at him behind the camera. Tara Reid accused Biden and Joe's own daughter, spilled tea, that he would shower with her when she was a child. He did something to Tara Reid? Shout out to her. I was like, Tara Reid, where's she been? The poster for House of Villains season 2 just came out, also with Teresa, New York, and Keaton. Oh yeah, I gotta see that because, well, yeah, it's getting close to that time. The show airs in September, so I definitely need to see that. And you know what? I was gonna say it's time for. It's funny because Teresa Giudice is the next damn story. But I guess I'll say it again in the thing that, you know what? She got House of Villains, but as long as she's still with that man Louis Ruelas, she needs to go from the Housewives. Let's see how this plays out, because only time can tell at this point. These men are something else is baffling. But he's unfortunately correct. People pick and choose which predator they like to support. Absolutely. Just like how y'all out here, you know, y'all be out here celebrating, you know, Mr. Illiterate, reading Rainbow. What's his name? R. Kelly. Y'all be sitting out here supporting and talking about, yeah, I still bump his music, know all the nasty shit he did, including pissing on a child and having sex with multiple children and keeping like a harem of girls and keeping them enslaved, including Portia Williams. Remember Portia wrote in her book how she was kept in a room and he allowed her to only have her laptop or something or another. So, you know, I just don't understand the people y'all pick and choose to support and celebrate. But then I guess because Russell Simmons is not your typical, stereotypical Negroidian, y'all want to discriminate against him. But let it be somebody else who black. Y'all will look the other way and be like, oh, but they gave me good content. They gave me good music. They gave me good, you know, they made good movies. I could overlook the other stuff. One video he talked to black men, and I saw another one earlier where he talked to black women. And we can't deny that, yeah, Russell Simmons has done a lot for the culture. But if he's guilty of some shit, then we need to hold his feet to the fire. But he is correct in what he said. It's like y'all sit up in here and windmill for Trump. But I can't understand these coons that have been out here tap dancing for Trump. But then y'all be the same ones that will go against him, go against Russell Simmons, and y'all be the same ones that will call someone a good man, Savannah. The other Russell Wilson, y'all call him a simp. How good man, Savannah, a damn simp? Make that make sense. Probably because a lot of y'all from broken homes, y'all don't know what a real man look like. Y'all ain't never had no real daddy in y'all lives. So y'all be sitting up here hating on actual men that do good by not only they bio children, but they stepchildren or bonus children, as some people would say. For being friends with I know the word you're saying. You should consider what you know about them and if they seem like the type to do whatever it is they did and how badly did they affect the other person involved. I do agree with that because I was just like, yeah, I would have to assess my friend because I've had this conversation off camera with people when I'll even use an example. Like when I was having conversations with someone who actually knows Shangela and is friends with Shangela and has done work with Shangela. And we've had other stories regarding them hanging out and knowing people, other drag race girls and things that we've heard stories of abuse and harassment and all these other things and other people within our community. We've had the conversations like, would you like, oh, I've known this person, they don't seem like the type or whatever. I was like, child, you never know these people. Like, did they know Ike Turner when he was beating on Tina? Like, he was presenting himself a certain way. And then behind closed doors, he was another way. But then again, he did beat her ass in front of company. So he was getting bold at that point. But I think it was because it was that damn booger sugar. When you on that powder, and you sit there riding that white horse all day as a rock star, and you envious that your wife is more popular than you, you know, you stop giving a fuck or trying to hide the situation. So some people do get lazy with the abuse stuff. But anyway, so now speaking of Teresa, let's talk about her. Since, you know, it was mentioned before we did the story about the new House of Villains poster. So Teresa Giudice's future on the Real Housewives of New Jersey is up in the air despite reports suggesting otherwise. So now the TV personality, who's 52, who was recently slammed for heavy filters on a bikini photo from a trip to Turkey, has been a cast member on the show since the first season began airing in 2009. However, a source told DailyMail.com that the Bravo series is on ice, with Andy also as in Cohen also revealing that a reboot is possible in regards to the show's future. Now, the thing with the whole reboot, there's been two minds of the whole situation of like where they're going to go with it. Is it you're doing a full reboot, which is you're wiping the slate clean, or are you going to just keep some of the cast but then bring in new girls? I've already given my thoughts on this. I do not think y'all should do a full reboot because, first of all, nobody's watching New York. Nobody's watching this version of New York. What you should have did was kept a couple of the girls. You should have kept Luann. You should have, I said, you should have kept Sonya. But I guess at this point, from what I'm hearing, Andy don't really care for Sonya anymore. So it's probably not a good idea to keep her because she's alcoholic, allegedly. So I was like, have her on there. You can have some of these other girls that y'all have on. Even try to bring back Kelly Ben-Simone. I don't know. But y'all could have kept some of the legacy girls and then interject some of the new girls up in there and have them kind of interact, which is like the legacy and the newbies, which is kind of like what they're doing with Jersey. I like what they're doing over there with Jersey, where y'all brought in Rachel Fuda and Danielle Cabral. I think y'all need to keep that going, but chop some of these veterans. And the veterans y'all need to get rid of, I do agree, is Teresa. She do need to go, especially with the way Louis has turned this show into this. It's just, I feel dirty every time I watch it. Like literally, I watched the full season. I finally finished all the season, including the watch party. And after I watched the finale episode, when they met up in that same place where they in the same steakhouse that they shot the watch party, I felt dirty. Literally, from a scale of 1 to 10, my blood pressure was at a 45. And I'm just like, it's toxic. Teresa is very much like she don't hear nothing. She is so far gone. Anybody that says anything remotely against her and doesn't just kiss her ass, you're dead to her. Even now, when we found out Jackie Goldschneider was up to doing some shady shit, she didn't have no problem with it. But then they said, and this will tell you all you need to know. They was like, oh, she usually has delayed reactions when it comes to things. So she may not react in the moment now, but 2 days from now, it's going to sink in and then she'll have a reaction towards Jackie. And I'm like, you got to be a whole kind of special mentally where your brain is that fucking delayed that if somebody was doing some shady shit to dig up some stuff on you and meeting with enemies of yours, I'd have been pissed off automatically. But I guess at this point, because Teresa doesn't have many people to film with, she's gonna, of course, have no problem with Jackie. And then Dolores, Black Dolores, she just don't have no kind of mind of her own. This whole Switzerland thing, I'm over it. She got to go too. She offers nothing to the show. And Jen Aiden, with all the stuff she's been doing behind the scenes, like the way that she went in on Danielle's husband and talk about his man boobs or whatever. It's like, bitch, but you married to a whole plastic surgeon. Your whole body has been reconstructed and worked over and scalped. You're a full-on Van Gogh sculpture after your husband gets through with you. So I know you're not up in here trying to talk about somebody's body parts. What parts of you is real? We'll wait. So I don't like what Jen Aiden's been bringing to the show. She's absolutely disgusting. I can't stand her. Jackie Goldschneider is just there. She just brings nothing to the show. And Black Dolores gotta go. She bores me to death. And we already know, allegedly, the Irish man she messing with, Paulie, apparently the reason why he not leaving his wife is because they've got a prostitution business. You want to talk about prostitution whores? Your man is running a whole brothel, allegedly. And they got a series of brothels that him and his ex-wife are caught up in. That tea was spilled on social media. And I believe that Teresa was the one, allegedly, that spilled that mess. But y'all forgive each other because y'all need to film. Who else y'all gonna film with? And I know some people get mad because if they keep Melissa and Joe, but they've been on their best behavior. They've been giving us the entertainment, and I know that will piss Teresa off if y'all keep Melissa and them on there. But I'm like, they're not making the show toxic. In fact, I like the idea that they have. What makes this franchise stand out amongst all the others is that the ladies, when they have their stuff, it's fun to watch the guys hang out too, especially when y'all be at Joe Gorga's house. It feels like a family affair. All the husbands that get along with all the husbands of the wives that get along, they be at Joe Gorga house, eating steak, getting lit, doing body shots off of blow-up dolls. Like, that shit is fun. And I think that's the thing we love about the show. Whereas Teresa and them, they sit around all day long trying to dig up stuff to try to take Margaret down, but she ain't that smart. Margaret did the ultimate slam dunk on her ass while she up in there trying to dig up some shit from the attorney. She sent a bunch of damn flowers, funeral flowers, to the house, Teresa house, and basically said, best wishes or congratulations on the loss of your dignity or something or another. Bitch, when I saw that damn thing come through the door, I damn near fell out my chair. Because I'm like, girl, you try to come up in there with a whole bombshell, which epic fail. I mean, you know, Margaret basically did a full-on slam dunk on your ass. And she couldn't take it because Teresa, in the words of Wendy Williams, is less than smart. So basically, we had a follow-up because I was like, I had to give y'all the whole rundown before we get to the thing. So basically, there was a story because Frank Catania went on a recent interview, and we talked about this in the last show, where he basically said that it was, I guess it was the Lisa Alastui podcast. I don't know who that is, but apparently she got a podcast because everybody got a podcast these days, and he was interviewed on it. And he basically said that what he had heard from some people was that she was asked to leave. They didn't want to fire her. They didn't want to hurt her feel, I guess, because they, you know, they wanted to let her down easy or whatever the case is. I'm going to give it to you nice, easy, instead of rough. No, Tina Turner reference. They wanted to give it to her nice and easy. And so then with them doing that, is that you let her down easy and then have her move on instead of firing her, which is a little more harsh, I guess. But now the word on the street is it's not true. And he said, but it's a shame because, you know, I see Teresa landing someplace because Teresa across all the franchises is probably the most recognizable housewife in the world, which is true because she did an interview with Carlos King, and I guess it was like a live audience, whatever. I didn't watch it. I can't sit and watch her because then also they had a point where they were trying to bring on Louis and have him tell. I was like, no, now you're trying to interview him because you're trying to vindicate him on stuff, but he consistently sticks his foot in his mouth in a lot of situations, including the whole thing he recently said about Teresa daughters wearing thongs and things, and people were creeped out by what he said on that podcast. Plus all the behind the scenes stuff that he's been doing and the stuff he said about Margaret's son. Oh, I hope her son suffers and I hope her family suffers because of the things that they did to us and whatever. And Teresa doubling down on it. And they know, like, at that point she was gone because they've always had this golden rule that they don't go in on the kids. Kids are off limits. But because of her strong hatred for Margaret, she went and broke her own damn rule. Like, when you start doing that, it's time, girl. It's time for you to go. Like, you are just toxic for the show. And I don't care how popular and how famous she is. Everything that has a beginning has an end in the words of the Oracle from the Matrix. You know, everybody's got their expiration date and you can be replaced. I don't care how much of an HBIC Teresa thinks she is. If you're not giving if you're making the show uncomfortable for people to watch, and you taking away, you're not willing to work for your $2 million allegedly per season, then you gotta go. So basically he said that I suspect that they're going to be dropping off some people and bringing additional new people in as well as keeping some people in. You can't continue the way we're doing it now because right now it's basically two separate shows. And I agree with that. You can't keep these people on. You can't have them filming separately and except in the finale, you're going to bring them all together in this room. Nothing gets resolved. That finale literally looked like a scene out of Mob Wives. Remember that TV show that used to be on VH1? I was trying to figure out which one was, well, I was going to say, I know which one is Drita, Danielle Cabral. She was giving Drita tease, but she tried to lunge over that table and beat the shit again out of Jen Aiden. It literally was about to become a scene out of Mob Wives. So, Andy, when you run around and try to talk about your shows ain't Love and Hip Hop, sir, your shows have gone beyond that. Because there's been many a times where a lot of those housewife shows, remember, y'all used to sit down and y'all go back and forth with the reads and the shade and all that other stuff, and being real mean-spirited about it. And it's not a problem. But now, y'all taking so much of the fun out of the show. People in here fighting. You had Portia dragging Kenya on the Housewives. We've seen many of physical altercations from these girls. So your show was going to be on Love and Hip Hop. So when you try to act like your show was better than them, no, y'all girls, your franchise is just as ratchet. You're just a step above because y'all production styles, y'all throw a little more extra money behind y'all shows compared to Love and Hip Hop. So while they're pretty much saying that it's not true that that she's been quietly removed, I do think that, as I said before, Teresa needs to go, Jen Aiden needs to go, Dolores Catania needs to go. Y'all can keep Melissa, you can keep Margaret, you can keep, well, I do think Margaret is entertaining, but it's just her shit with Teresa just makes things worse. I do think y'all should keep Margaret, keep Danielle, keep Rachel, Jackie Goldschneider, y'all can get rid of her. Jen Fessler, I like her, the flip-flop and all the stuff, it was cute or whatever, and I even liked her stupid little song she did at the end of the watch party. So keep her around, she's cute or whatever, and then just bring some new girls up in there and make it entertaining. But if y'all do decide to keep Melissa, Gorga, and Joe, then y'all need to address some of the stuff that allegedly has been going on behind the scenes. But they got to step up and actually have a storyline besides, okay, Antonia going to college, and then, you know, your sons are doing what they're doing, and then you have, you know, whatever it is that the other two do, because I have no idea what they're doing. We just know that there's a lot of tea going on around Teresa. And like I said, if the show is not watchable, if y'all can't make the show interesting, then they need to go. But yeah, Louis did apologize for what he said. Teresa got mad, and people didn't feel like that his apology was genuine because of it felt more or less it was self-serving, which he definitely gives me that and in his personality. But season 14 was underwhelming. I'm ready for a change, and if y'all give us the same old next season, y'all can't figure out how to make this damn show work, I'm bailing. So I'll say all this to say, and I know usually when it comes to Teresa Giudice stuff, it gets a bit long-winded. But yeah, she gotta go. I can't deal with her and that stupid ass husband of hers anymore. It's time for y'all to lose your job and move on. But look, Teresa got another gig. It's like, even if she don't come back to the Housewives, she could work other places. Like I said, she got House of Villains season 2 next month. She could do a season of The Traitors. She could do what else other shows? She could do The Surreal Life. But there's so many other reality shows that is popping up where she can go off and make a little money outside the Housewives. And that's what's going to have to come to at some point, because outside of the reality TV, she's not interesting. Nobody who listens to Namaste bitches. Like, she can barely formulate words to make an actual sentence that makes sense on the show. Who wants to listen to her in podcast form? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said exactly. People wear different masks for different people and environments, and that's what I say all the time. And that's the one thing I don't like, is that people act like, oh yeah, like people don't wear different things. It's like, yeah, people show you different sides of themselves, so you never know how people truly are. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about the Braxtons, who I watched episode 2 yesterday, and it was a bit cringe at some points. Now, after I was watching it, there was a bunch of stuff that went on. So apparently, you know, a lot of the people on social media were weighing in on the group session that a lot of girls had, because, you know, their sister Tracy passed away from esophageal cancer. I think that's how you say it, but it's cancer of the esophagus, because they said during one of the episodes that they were filming, she was like, oh, my throat is burning and all this other stuff. And they were like, well, when you get back to your house back in Baltimore, because, you know, they shoot in, I believe, Atlanta and LA and all this other stuff, because that's where the girls live. But so Tracy wound up going to the doctor, found out she had stage 3 cancer in her throat. And when she started, and then they started showing footage of her as she would look like she was wiltering away, and also was like, I definitely reminded me of like when my grandmother had cancer and how they started looking like a shell of their former self. So they all sat around, they were trying to, I guess, deal with how are they coping with her death, you know, Tracy's death. So, and how all the sisters and everybody was dealing with this sort of thing. So they basically said during the session, they had a grief counselor there by the name of Spirit, and she tried to help the family address their unresolved issues. But then, of course, things took a turn for the worse when Spirit asked Towanda how she felt about not having access to Tamar. And then Tamar jumped in saying her sister don't care and urging her to keep it real. She said, keep it real, dog. Like, she was doing that. I was like, okay, when did you turn into Randy Jackson, sis? Relax. It's like, and I'm asking you a question. If Spirit is asking Towanda a question, let Towanda answer before you go popping off. Like, let people get their thing out instead of you being all up in your feelings. But we know Tamar is someone who's just very emotional. And so she's going to react a certain way when it comes down to it. But hold on, because I want to pull this thing, and I'm going to play the audio. So I can't play the clip here because the thing with the, copyright and all that other stuff, I don't want to have this channel demonetized. So also, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this because in the beginning it started out because Trina revealed that she was the one that saw Tracy take her last breath, and how Towanda was right in saying that, oh yeah, I can handle it, and all those. She was like, no, you can't. You're real sensitive. You can't deal with the pain of seeing your sister lose her life in front of you. So it was Trina and the mother Evelyn were the two that were there when Tracy passed away, and Trina was like, it literally was starting in levels where it's like you literally start to see moments of her soul leaving her body. And then she said that she doesn't go to sleep until the sun comes up. And when she does go to sleep, she has to have background noise on. She has to watch TV. But I'm like, ain't she married? Like, where her husband at? What he doing? How's he helping and trying to comfort her with all this trauma? And I said, you know what? That's the thing about Black families. A lot of us do not know how to deal with the traumas in which we have been accustomed to, be it losing a loved one, a sibling, a mother, whatever the case is, and a lot of the traumas from our childhood that is carried over into our daily lives. So I do have the clip, and we're going to play what, I would play the Trina part, but I was like, let's just focus on the Tamar and Towanda argument. Please hold, and let me know if y'all hear it. Hold on.
In that space, there's a real firm boundary there that says you do not get access to me anymore for whatever. It's just, for me, you have to respect where a person is. That's just it. And until that person or whoever is willing to move forward in that way, then you just have to respect where they are. The respect is a behavior, but I want to know how it feels to not have access to your sister. But it's not connected to a feeling, though. It's not connected to a feeling. It's not connected to a feeling. How does your sister say, you don't have access to me, and you don't care that you don't have access to me, and it doesn't cause you to feel anything? It's just, I guess the feeling is numb. Yeah. Because it's not positive and it's not negative. Mm-hmm. And I will say numb is a feeling. It is a important. It is, right? Mm-hmm. Numb is a feeling that we go to. Our body shuts down when what we actually feel is so overwhelming that to feel that would hurt too much. So then we just learned how to channel and block it out. Well, no, because it's not blocked. It's just mutual. Keep it gangster, though. It's not, like I said, it's a matter of respect. I respect where people are. That's just it. I respect where people are. I don't engage. I don't pour into certain types of energy. Mm-hmm. I make different choices in my life. Mm-hmm. And that's just where I am. That is me, Josh. Yesterday, today, when was the last time you talked to me? I don't recall. It wasn't my birthday because you didn't call me. Here we are in March. I am in this space. I am in a space of I'm just focusing on my relationship. Mm-hmm. And whoever's in my household. Mm-hmm. I'm focusing on my children. I'm focusing on my relationship. You're in your household? Tony's in your household? They call me. I talk to them every day. You don't answer the phone. That's not true. Let's be specific. Did you call me yesterday? I did. Did I answer? Well, because we're taping now. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You call me every time you call. That is not every time you call, I answer. Every time you text, I answer. That's a fact. Okay, that's a fact. So I'm a liar. No, you said that. I didn't call you that. That's the word that you're using. Everyone knows that I always have receipts. But what's the point of showing it? My word should be my word. Facts are facts, and words can't change it. What she will do is she'll give you the carrot and move forward. Okay, this is how we go. Okay, now forget it. Okay, this is how we go. Okay, yeah, forget it. So either you're going to go here or you're not. No, you did not. No, you did not. What's happening between you and her right now? If a person gives me something and tells me this is how I'm feeling, I respect where they are. That's it. But the reason why is because speak for me. Is what I'm saying for you. Sure, you said because you just said this is exhausting. No, she's not. I'm listening to every word that you're saying to me. You said no, she's not, and then you took it back and said I'm not speaking for you, but you in fact did. That's all I'm saying. Okay. You know, I am just so sick and tired. You act like you guys are enemies.
Okay, we heard enough of that because now Evelyn getting her own thing. I'm just sick and tired. Y'all always fighting. I'm like, ma'am, first of all, your ass is the goddamn root of the issue. And that's what they were talking about because they was, in the show, they was about, there is a root that you have to cut to deal with the real issue of the situation. And then, Spirit had to explain what that means because it all comes from somewhere. And the root is Evelyn. Like a lot of the stuff between her and that ex-husband of hers, who I believe was out there cheating because, he was a pastor at one point, and they was like this big prominent gospel family, I believe, out in Baltimore before they all moved on to their whole situation. And their father was out there laying low and spreading it wide and all this other mess. Now we got all caught up in the, the church ASIN situation, which is like when you popular within the church circuit, y'all start getting, you Jesus famous. You're not like big famous like Kirk Franklin and all the others, but he was out here doing the things that he was doing. And Evelyn was feeling her resentments and being messy and all that other stuff in regards to her despising of her ex. And then there was kind of like this whole thing that you got to choose this one over this one. So the girls, I feel like, have gone more or less over to their mother than anything. Even though they do see their father, at the same time, I think there is some resentment there because of the whole divorce situation. There's also stuff where I do feel that with Toni, a lot of times there's all this pressure on her because she's the oldest girl. Well, I believe she might be the oldest, period. She might be the firstborn. So there's this overall pressure that she's got to take care of the entire family when she should be focusing on herself, her health, because she got all her health ailments. And then she's got stuff going on with, she got to raise her two sons. I don't know why she was messing with ugly ass Birdman, his, orc from the Lord of the Rings looking ass. So, what I will say is that there was some comments, so we don't get to what the people had to say. Because it was like one person, out of respect for their mother, Miss Evelyn, I would suggest putting all the personal pettiness behind the men things. No parent wants to deal with grief and losing one of their children while watching your grown adult children sit and argue about grudges they've had against one another. TV and not pursue peace. Life is way too short to have more arguments and disagreements as documented memories when then producing new loving memories instead, especially after the loss of Tracy. Well, the thing was, what they also said is that they realized that Tracy was the glue that held the family together. And once she passed, it just sort of like they all kind of went their own separate ways. But one person, a lot of people was going in and saying that Towanda is jealous of Tamar, and that's why she doesn't, she is acting the way she is towards Tamar. I also looked up her thing because she said your birthday's in September. Chill. Tawanda's a Virgo. It said Towanda figured that she would have been the show's breakout star since she was Tony's assistant or whatever. She couldn't and still can't handle Tamar being bigger than her. I don't agree with that. I understand that's some childish shit. Oh, you just mad because I got more money in the bank. That's just very childish to even come up with that assessment. Another person said, as much as I love the Braxtons, they have provided my comfort show for years. They have provided my comfort show? Oh, you could have said they've been here. I go trying to proofread people's stuff. But anyway, she said, provided my comfort show for years. Tamar needs to get on TV and social media and give healing a true chance. However, I believe Tamar when she says Towanda only answers her calls when it's time to film. And it could be this thing of like, you know what? Sometimes, and I will say this, me being a Virgo and also Towanda being a Virgo as well, I think I understand the situation. When you got certain family members that's toxic or certain family members that just be too damn extra or just messy or just all about the drama and just real nasty, mean-spirited and nasty, like their spirit is dark, you don't want to be around that. You want to protect your peace. You want to protect your energy. And I'm that way also. It's just like, I'll deal with you when I have to deal with you. You're not my favorite. Yeah, we blood and I live for you or whatever. But as now me being an older person, I'd rather keep you over there and I'm here. And when it's time for us to be in a room together, I'll be cordial. I'll break bread. I'm gonna love you from afar. But we not cool like that. And it should be, unfortunately, that's just how stuff is when it comes to certain sibling situations. There are sibling rivalries. Another person put, Tamar is so obnoxious during the confrontation with Towanda. How she's acted in the scene is why no one wants to be bothered. And it's so like, you should have let Towanda tell her side of the story and listen to what she got to say and then respond. But it's like Towanda saying what she's saying and Tamar just cutting her off, speaking over her, doing her stupid little laughs on her little weird facial expressions and turning her neck 360 degrees, like she damn Linda Blair in The Exorcist, or curling herself up in the chair. Like she doing all these stupid body language things, like being extra for no reason. It's like, sis, like if we're gonna have a conversation, let's have a real conversation. Don't be doing all this extra shit because cameras is rolling. And then they said, imagine your sister blocking you out of your life and keeping you in the dark, but when you call them out on it, it's a problem. The amount of hatred Towanda has for Tamar is sad. Love you, Tamar. Not all of us are falling for Tawanda's shit. And I do feel like, okay, if you're watching the show or whatever, some of y'all need to relax in the way y'all putting y'all stuff up there because you don't know what these people are going through as far as sibling goes. It's the same thing like how people was dragging Tamar on social media. They're like, oh, well, y'all was treating Tracy like shit for all them years when on that show. But then when she passed, all of a sudden, kumbaya in regards to the whole Tracy situation. It's like, you don't know what these people's relationships was truly like. You only going by clips of what you seeing that was, hours of footage that was edited down to a 43-minute show with commercials. And I said, I feel like Towanda leaves Tamar out of information to further make her feel isolated, kind of like they still kids, and she bullies Tamar passive aggressively, if that makes sense. Towanda, a middle child, Tamar, the spoiled baby, and breakout star, so that creates resentment. Well, breakout reality star, because first of all, the big star of that family will always be Tony. But I was trying to see the one, because I don't want to be reading all these. It's a lot of these. I want to say, oh, yeah, people even brought up when they was on the Iyanla's thing back in 2004, saying that Towanda harbored resentment because Tamar left the trio. It's like Tony got a pass, but Tamar got, in her words, got punished. I don't know what that means because I didn't watch the situation. But yeah, a lot of people were saying that basically they feel like Evelyn is the problem, that of the whole beef between the whole family, that a lot of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, I mean, like with them growing up and how their mother and stuff was, that she is basically the root of the problem. And I'm like, that could be true, because a lot of times when it comes to family dynamics, I always say the root always starts with the parents. Like a lot of the things, a lot of the trauma stuff that comes from like the generational trauma that comes into situations, a lot of us comes into from a lot of the stuff that we learned from our parents, and they pass that generational trauma down. And it was saying that Towanda and Tamar just don't like each other. It is what it is. Tony don't like none of them. She already said it. Poor Trina really has minimal support because of it. Tracy brought positivity to the family, and they didn't appreciate it while they had it. And, like they said, Tracy was the glue. And they basically, one person said, Tamar is the manifestation of Evelyn's anger and nasty attitude. Iyanla said it years ago. And it's like, yeah, you have to, the root starts at the head. And it's unfortunate that this is what a lot of these people are going through. I really hope that they work it out, because I like the Braxtons. Boy, so I always say the Kardashians with some actual talent. And, one of the things I do love about the show is that it shows that, family dynamics, drama that siblings have, because I can totally relate to sibling issues and stuff, and then people who you don't necessarily get along with in your family. It's like, okay, you try to make things work, but if you're not willing to meet me halfway in the situation, then I'm washing my hands of you. I'm gonna go live my life, you go live your miserable life over there, and I'm gonna just do me. And I hope that Towanda and Tamar work it out, but I guess because Tamar still be in her immature bag with the way she comes across, and it's like Towanda was trying to explain herself or whatever. I'm not saying either one is right, but they need to come better in the way that they address each other in situations. I understand there's a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of resentment, and y'all got to get past all that to come to a resolution. I don't know what that's going to do. It's going to take years of, therapy. And I love the fact I'm seeing people of color, especially Black folks, doing therapy, because a lot of people be trying to say that, oh, that's what white people do. No, there's a lot of mental stuff that Black people dealt with over the 400 years of slavery. So generational trauma, that is definitely something that needs to be exercised and worked out. And I encourage people, into doing therapy. So I say all this to say, did y'all watch that episode of the Braxtons? I really hope that, even though they're coming back, and this, I do find it weird that Tamar's like, oh, I'm not doing reality TV anymore, especially with WeTV, because of all the stuff that was going on with the show and all the things they was doing behind the scenes. But girl, you came back to the channel that had you damn near unaliving yourself. But I just hope that they can find a way to heal this thing and not just get caught up in this reality TV matrix. Because, some people out here believe that reality TV ruins lives and ruins marriages and ruins everything that y'all come in. But look, if y'all come in with that toxicity, all reality TV does is expand on it and shines a brighter light on it. So let me know what y'all guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so Felix says, when I hear the name Towanda, I think of I think that is a Southern name. I don't know, Towanda. I said the scene where Kathy Bates was crashing into the car, who took her parking space, yelling, Towanda. It said, can you meet me halfway right now, right on the whole? What are you talking about? Is that a Black Eyed Peas song or a Fergie song? But anyway, speaking of more family dynamics, let's get into this Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Shiloh, Jolie, Pitt situation. Because Brad and Angelina, or Brangelina's daughter, Shiloh, has been able to move forward by a judge to change her last name and just go by Shiloh Jolie instead of Shiloh Jolie Pitt or Shiloh Pitt. So the 18-year-old daughter of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie officially dropped her father's surname after initially making the legal request on her birthday in May. The court ruling obtained by Page 6 shows a judge signed off on the change Monday morning. Her name has been changed from Shiloh Novell Jolie Pitt to Shiloh Novell Jolie. Reps for Shiloh and Angelina didn't immediately return Page 6's request for comment, but TMZ was the first to report the news. Now, after she's a dancer? When did that happen? But if that's what y'all say she is, then we're going to go with it. After the dancer filed her petition to distance herself from the Oscar winner, it was revealed that Shiloh used her own money to pay for an attorney to represent her. And I know some people are like, she got money? Well, look, she produced that Outsiders on Broadway with Angelina, so I guess she do got coins. Or maybe it's an inheritance, because, I don't know what job she been doing, except she's a producer. So they said Shiloh hired her own lawyer and paid for it herself, so Angie doesn't know and can't speak for it, an insider told Entertainment Tonight. Part of the legal process to change her name in the state of California is to announce a petition in a newspaper. Thus, Shiloh published her announcement in an ad in the LA Times, which ran on June 17th, June 24th, July 1st, and July 8th, court documents obtained by Page 6 stated. Here's the thing. If you're going to change your name, change your name, change your name. If you're going to change your name, then why the hell do you need to announce it? Just change your damn name. It's like when some people say, oh, I'm unsubscribing. Okay, bitch, then fucking unsubscribe. Like, who asked you? Don't announce that you're leaving. Don't announce, well, I'm good at not announcing when I leave. I'm the queen of Irish goodbyes. Like, I slide up out the room. People don't even know I left. But why do you have to announce that you're changing your last name? But then they saying that she used her own money. But it also makes me wonder, Brad, what kind of a father are you that all your kids pretty much don't like you? That they're like, you know what? He's done in my life. I'm going to cut out your last name and I'm going to just stick with my mother. So I really want to know, what did Brad do? So they said a hearing for Shiloh's name change was initially scheduled to take place in July, but had to be postponed because the court didn't complete a necessary background check on time. They said this is normal. Everyone undergoing a name change request needs to have a background check conducted by the court clerk, and because of a clerical error, Shiloh's hearing had been continued, or has been continued. On a new date. This is what her attorney Peter Levine told Page 6 in a statement. Shiloh has joined several other siblings who have also distanced themselves publicly from the Ocean's 11 star. Now, earlier this year, Angelina Foyle 9 and Brad's daughter, Vivian, was notably listed as Vivian Jolie in the Outsiders playbill. Okay, so it's Vivian who is a producer. I was some child, they all look alike to me. So, Shiloh apparently, didn't they say at one point, wait, wasn't Shiloh the one that everybody thought was going to be transgender? Because Shiloh was walking around dressing like she was Billie Eilish, or before we even knew who Billie Eilish was, and or she was dressing very gender ambiguous, non-binary, like she was giving that kind of thing. But now she all dressed up in her little girl clothes. So, and you could definitely tell that that's Brad and Angelina's daughter, because I hate when this damn thing does that, because it's like she definitely looks like, she got both of their features. But I definitely want to know what it is, like, why does the kids dislike Brad so much that he's not in their life? They're removing his last name. Girl, you wouldn't even have to change all that. You could just wait until you get married and then change your surname. But I guess, who knows if she wants to get married? And who wants to wait that long to have that name on your thing? But here's the thing. Your father is one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. You can never erase him from your situation. He's always going to be there. Everybody knows who Brad Pitt is. So I have to say this is sad and unfortunate, but there has to be genuine reason as to why. I remember he and Maddox had the situation where I guess he hit him on a private plane. Then we had Pax, who was in the hospital, and basically on, I guess, Brad's birthday called him an a-hole. Then you have, Vivian, who basically removed his name or whatever. So it's just like all the kids don't pretty much like him. It's sad and unfortunate, but I'm definitely curious to find out what Brad Pitt did that all these kids don't even like their own father. Or did Angelina poison them kids against him? Or is it that Brad really isn't a great guy? Look, he was recently spotted hanging out with George Clooney. So they good, wherever they at. I guess it's just the fact that you got all them damn kids and they don't even like your ass. Can you imagine if that happened with Nick Cannon, all them children he got, none of his kids like it? But anyway, if y'all know if y'all know anything about why the kids don't like Brad, if you think that Angelina poisoned them kids against them and all sorts of stuff, and they put this narrative in the press that, she spent her own money and Angelina didn't know anything about it. I'm like, so she didn't have to get a sign off on regards of, or with them doing the background check, they didn't check to see or Angelina didn't know anything about the fact that this was going on, or that they were looking into this thing. I'm sure she knew. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, just as my personal thought on this, if one parent is physically or mentally abusing one another, the child or children in this case shouldn't be turned against one. Felix, I can see bits of both Brad and Angelina. And yeah, you definitely, you could definitely see the features in there. And yeah, of course, she knows about it. And when they're trying to act like, she probably didn't have a hand in it. Oh, well, whatever you think, you should do it. Probably not even pushing. Because I'm thinking like, I don't know. I just don't put nothing past Angelina. Just like this whole situation with Halle Berry and all her shenanigans is going on with these exes, or she be dating these messy ass men, from Wesley Snipes to Dave Justice to Eric Benet to Gabriel Aubry to what's the name? Olivier Martinez. Like every man that she been with has been a hot ass mess, or she been in some drama. So it just sort of looked like, okay, so now I gotta look at you and think like, bitch, you the problem. No, not calling Halle a bitch, but just, you know what I mean. It's just how we talk. It's like, sis, you the problem. Because if I'm looking at you and this is the situation, you're clearly the problem. Kind of makes me wonder about Angelina. And I think most people kind of looking at Angelina because Angelina has this reputation. The only thing that y'all can go in on Brad about was the fact that he cheated on Jennifer Aniston. Poor Jennifer Aniston, as everybody tries to look at her as. Y'all, because of that. And he's cheated on her with Angelina. And had a whole family with her, got married, all that stuff, because I guess Jen wasn't ready for all of that. And not everybody's equipped or want to bring children into this world. Okay, so they said Jolie's whole life has been a mess from her father to her mother. I won't be surprised this has manifested in adult. Yeah, like we were talking about earlier with the Braxtons. No, that's funny. One of my friends said Kai just needs to come on the radio. You talking about Kai Sinat? Yeah, he definitely give me homosexual tease. He definitely gives me that. Like he like people pulling on them locks as they digging in his guts with the longest penis. Anyway, let's move on from this mess to some sad news. And let's talk about my girl Danielle Fishel, who revealed that she had the breast cancer. Now, I was shocked when I heard this yesterday. So Boy Meets World star Danielle Fishel opened up on the latest episode of her Pod Meets World podcast with Will Friedle and Ryder Strong about being diagnosed with cancer at the age of 43, which is currently her age, by the way. Hold on, because I was like trying to pull up this picture, trying to time it with the yapation, but it didn't work this time. So she said, I would like to share something with our listeners, something that Ryder and Will were actually two of the first people I told the news to. This is what Fishel said. She said, I was recently diagnosed with DCIS, which stands for ductal carcinoma in situ. Who's in situ? Which is a form of breast cancer. She said, it's very, very early. It's technically stage 0. To be specific, I was diagnosed with high-grade DCIS and microevasion, and I'm going to be fine. I'm having surgery to remove it. I'm going to be on some follow-up treatment. I've had to make a lot of decisions over the last couple of days. So Fisher explained that she initially wasn't going to share her diagnosis publicly, but she realized she could help others with her own health story, saying, if you ever had those thoughts in your life where someone close to you is diagnosed with cancer, somewhere in your mind you think, what would I do if this were me? What would I do in this situation? And for some reason, I had always thought I would suffer in silence. I would get the diagnosis. I would not tell anyone. I would only tell my small group. And then I would just suck it up. And then when I'm on the other side of it, then I will tell people. And she said, as I've gotten older, I've really tried to learn from the experiences of others because I don't think I did that enough when I was younger. I'm also come to notice because she is someone like she and I were all in the same age range. Like, I totally understand where she's coming from with this because I feel like our generation, that's the way we were taught. We were all taught to be like, you know what, if you have a sickness or whatever the case is, you only tell your small group of people that you trust, that you really care, that truly care about you, have your best interest at heart. You suck it up, buttercup. You suffer in silence. And then when you made it through the storm, then you want to come out and speak about it publicly. But I feel like now we're in a time where people are just, you know what? I feel like maybe especially because we're in the era of social media and everything is so immediate and everybody lives vicariously through podcasts, videos, YouTube videos, whatever you want to call it, TikTok, all that other stuff, that there's a sort of relatability situation that we're all going through, which we always talk about, authenticity, relatability, that sort of thing, especially when it comes to people gravitating towards certain celebrities. And a lot of times when they come out, it's like, you know what, I'm just going to be transparent with my audience. I'm just going to be like, you know what, they found something. They said I got cancer. It's stage 0. They're going to deal with it. I'm going to go under the knife. And you know what? As someone at her age, this wakes up people who are fans of Danielle's and who are fans of Boy Meets World that watch listen to the podcast because of that fandom of that old series that I grew up on. You look at it as like, you know what, maybe not I need to go get checked, because it's unfortunate that the only way a lot of people do things now is because a celebrity, their favorite celebrity or whatever was going through it. So now they're looking at it that way. Unfortunately, it's the way the world is. Y'all will listen to a celebrity before you listen to a damn politician. And I guess maybe because people feel like politicians are a bunch of damn liars. I mean, well, yeah, they all come from the judicial system. They're all like lawyers and judges and shit. Of course, they're fucking they're professional liars. But that's neither here nor there. This thing is, I just feel like because it's a relatability type of situation, and because it's people just identify with these type of celebrities more, the ones who have the gift of gab, the ones that come out and they really explain some of these things. So I'm actually glad that she came out and spoke out. I didn't even know she was married, though. She said she first told her husband, Jensen Karp, with whom she shares sons Adler 5 and Keaton 3, and the rest of her family, that she had breast cancer. Funny enough, I didn't even know she had children. I was always wondering about that. I'm like, does Danielle have a family? Is she married? Does she have kids? Yeah, she got a whole husband, and she has 2 children. And she went and said, and then when I realized is the more people I talk to, the more people have their own experiences, either themselves being diagnosed with cancer or a family member who's been diagnosed with cancer before vouching for getting a mammogram. The only reason I caught the cancer was when it was still stage 0 is because the day I got my text message that my yearly mammogram had come up, I made the appointment. And the fact that I am good about going to my doctor's appointments, when truthfully, it would be so much easier with as busy as I am to say, I don't have time for that. Instead, I was like, yeah, it's time. Got to make the appointment. And they found it so early that I'm going to be just fine. And so I want to share this because I hope that it will encourage anyone to get in there. If it's time for your appointment, if you've never had an appointment before, get in there. If you have to find out that you have cancer, find out when it's at stage 0, if possible. Now, they said that she has some big decisions instead of regarding her cancer battle. She said, I don't have all the answers. I still have doctors I need to meet with, oncologists, radiation specialists, hormone therapists, all kinds of stuff that I have still in front of me to decide. And I feel like with the podcast and everything, what she'll do is, and she'll probably give people an insight into her journey with all of this stuff going on, which will probably encourage other people as well to follow suit and to get checked out. And I think it's relatively important because I feel like these days I've noticed more and more people are getting cancer at a younger age. And I was reading something that was saying that a lot of people are getting cancer diagnoses younger and younger, like diagnoses from things where it's like, oh no, this is stuff that older people usually get. Now younger people are getting it. And they're saying it's all in the processed foods. And now I don't know. I mean, I think that processed food stuff has been banned in other countries. In the United States, they still putting processed shit in our food, which is crazy how they're allowing all of that. But they said that that's what it's coming from. So it's like we got to be watching what we put in our bodies. We got to take better care of ourselves, especially as you get older, because your body don't bounce back like it used to, especially once you hit 40. Trust and believe. That was like, it was funny the other day. I saw Funky Don Evil was talking, who I think is moving to Atlanta finally today. And he was talking about how he said, I'm giving up drinking because it's like the recovery takes longer. And trust and believe, it does. It literally takes me a day to recover if I'm out partying. And I told y'all the other day when I went out to $3 bill, and then my crazy ass was like, I had to work the next day and I was walking around like a zombie. It's like, yeah, back in the day when I was in my 20s, my teens and 20s, I can go and I could drink and I could do all these things. And from there, party until like it's 7:00 in the morning, take my behind exactly in the outfit that I wore to the club, still reeking of booze. But what I would do is I would just throw some gum in my mouth or whatever the case, because I didn't have a toothbrush or nothing on me. So you just, find ways to freshen yourself up a little bit. And then I would go straight to work. But the good thing was I worked in a hospital. So I was in a room by myself as a telecommunications operator. There was nobody in the office, so nobody could smell any of the alcohol and any of the other stuff. Like the person I was relieving would probably know, and the person that would relieve me would know. But when I would come in, I'm literally in the office by myself the whole time. So I could just rest my eyes a little bit until the phone rang or whatever the case was. So I had a good job at the time when I was doing all that. So I could be in and out. But yeah, it's like, but now it's like, that shit catches up with you when you older. So we got to do better by taking care of ourselves. And when it's time to get them checkups, especially men, when you hit 45, it's time for you to get that prostate exam. I know some people feel bad about things going in your butt. It don't make your ass gay, because you want to know something? the universe don't discriminate when you get prostate cancer and you end up dying because you worrying about somebody going in your ass. So get things checked because you only got this one life. So I say all this to say, shout out to Danielle. I'm glad she's, caught it early, and I wish her a speedy recovery as well as anybody else that's out here in these streets that are struggling with cancer, because I know family members that have died from cancer. My grandmother passed away from cancer. Like it's cancer is no joke. So I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, you saw when I made the comment about Casanat, and then you went honestly when it said Casanat was showering with speed with shorts on because they haven't showered in 2 days because that is so gross. So y'all be in the house playing these games, so y'all be up in there stinking. I know that they be passing gas and shit. So it's just like y'all farting all day. You're up for 2 damn days playing video damn games. But they don't care because they're making millions of dollars doing all that other stuff. And that's why a friend of mine was like, he just sent me a text talking about Casanat just need to come out of the damn closet already. He also broke character that with that Asian boy he always hanging out with and shoved him to the camera and made him say, "I'm your boo-boo bear." And they all fucking behind the scenes. I really only like 3 episodes of BMW where you only like 3 episodes of Boy Meets World. You said where Sean and Angela were dating. Anything before that, season 5, I don't give a fuck. The funny part was the actress that played her. I heard she's like really old. She in her 50s. She was a real old chick on the show, but she looked young because it's like our generation. We all look younger than we actually are, our actual age. So she's in her 50s, and they was a recent story I saw that she's pregnant with another baby. I'm like, well, damn, I'm surprised her eggs wasn't pounded by the time, she got knocked up. But that's relatively dangerous the older you get, especially when you're a Black woman and you're having a baby. But anyway, child, let's get into it. Let's move on and let's talk about Blake Lively, who's getting dragged on social media for, they said, using a transphobic slur. So, lately with this movie that she's been in, I have to say I am still confused as to what is going on regarding this drama surrounding this movie called It Ends With Us with her director and co-star Justin Baldoni. I'm still confused with all the drama that's going on around that. I've had people try to explain it to me, and it's probably, maybe it's just, I don't care. Maybe it's like, okay, this is so stupid with all this behind the scenes mess that's going on with them. But look, people started pulling up receipts talking about that Blake Lively is the problem. She the one that's problematic because they've been trying to present this narrative that Justin Baldoni is rude and disrespectful and problematic. But people have been pulling up receipts saying, it ain't him, it's her. Even down to the point where people try to pull up an old video of her using the word tranny in an interview. So I was asking, is it a big deal that Blake Lively said tranny over 10 years ago? That's the question being asked all over the internet today after several quotes made by the embattled It Ends With Us star more than a decade ago have started resurfacing. Now, Lively is at the center of a lot of controversy right now after a chaotic press tour for her movie It Ends With Us and an alleged feud she had with her director and co-star Justin Baldoni. Now people are digging into her past to find more reasons not to like her. So I don't know if I could pull up the audio or whatever the case was because it was an interview that she did with Leighton Meester on Gossip Girl. But I could pull up the Twitter situation where it showed the article. So it said, her quote was, "I hope to have a few girls one day. If not girls, they better be trannies because I have some amazing shoes and bags and stories that need to be appreciated." Okay, now I shouldn't laugh at that, but she probably said, I'm not sure I better be, if I don't even get a girl, one of my sons could transition into a girl and become transgender because I got some shoes and bags. Now, yeah, it's a bit childish. It's ignorant for her to say that on the surface. However, I will say this was over a decade ago, and I feel like people need to just stick to how her behavior is now, rather than y'all just trying to pull up something that she said 10 years ago to justify your not liking her. So, Twitter user Josh Charles _21 posted on social media, sometimes I'll be quietly going about my day, and then I remember that time Black Glavely said this to a journalist, along with a picture of her being quoted from a 2012 interview with Elle. Say, oh yeah, well, I did read it already, so I don't have to go through that again. They said another clip, this one from Nylon TV, and I'm not playing that clip because I don't want to get demonetized. They said had her talking with her Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester, and shows the two actors being asked if they pay attention to rumors about them. She said, you read the gossip magazines and everybody is dating everyone. Everybody dates everyone. I mean, everybody hates everyone. Everybody has had like tons of plastic surgery, and they're actually men and trannies. She said, it's just like you don't listen to the rumors. And a third quote from, but I guess maybe when she was saying with that, and I'm not making an excuse for what she said, but she's playing into this whole thing of, oh, it's the extremities of it all. So I see why she used the word. Yeah, everybody hear the word tranny and automatic discrimination. She hates trans people. But it's like, you know, she's going off of them saying in gossip magazines, everybody's dating everybody. Everybody hates this one. This one's sleeping with this one. This one got plenty of plastic surgery. And this one's not a man, they're a tranny and all this other stuff. I'm not saying it's right, but this is, you know, when you're talking about the extremities of what the gossip magazines go through, this is what she's referring to. So she said it a third time in another interview, and this was in 2009 with Allure. And she said, I feel like a tranny a lot of the time. I don't know. I'm large. They put me in 6-inch heels and I tower over every man. I've got this long hair, lots of clothes and makeup on. I just feel really big a lot of the time. And I'm surrounded by a lot of people. I feel like a man sometimes. So, girl, that was a little cringe when she goes and says, oh, I feel like a tranny sometimes because, you know, trans people are considered tall and statuesque, very much like, Dominique Ross from Pose, you know, Miss Electra Abundance, Wintour, whatever what last name she was going by, Evangelista. So you get these tall, statuesque women, and it's like, yeah. And I think the old stereotype when you see these women who are big shouldered, a little lineback-ish, you know, tall, statuesque, you're saying you equate them either with you're a man or a tranny. It's a bit cringe, sis, but you know. What people need to also realize is that, and I'm going to say this, I'm not saying it's right, but this goes into the conversation about when y'all start digging up stuff that happened like 10, 15 years ago and want to all of a sudden be mad about stuff. A little history lesson. So in the late 2000s, the word tranny, not saying it was right, was thrown around with wild abandon. And, you know, it was literally a word that was thrown around a lot in those days. And people, it wasn't seen as a negative. I'm not saying that, but I guess, you know, at the time, trans people, I'm sure, well, they didn't have a voice. So they weren't being on TV. We didn't hear them saying that they had a problem with this. If you go back to old episodes of Project Runway, the season that Christian Siriano was on and he won, he would throw around that word hot tranny mess all the time. That was like his go-to word. And I'm not saying that using an anti-trans slur is okay. Or that the fact that there's people going around using it. But it also makes me wonder, is like, okay, now if Blake said it today in 2024, then we could drag her by her roots or by her extensions across the room and cuss her ass out on social media. But because it was used in 2009, no. It's the same thing with like RuPaul's Drag Race. When RuPaul's Drag Race came out in 2008, 2009? Oh, girl, you got she-male. Was not seen as a problem for the first couple of seasons. She-male is seen as a derogatory word. When I look at the word she-male, it was a play on Tyra Male because the show was inspired by Project Runway. Speaking of Project Runway, we were talking about Christian Siriano. It was taken from Project Runway and America's Next Top Model, but with drag queens. So you had your modeling stuff, your photo shoots, and you had your design challenges. But part of the thing, instead of Tyra Male, they used she-male. It wasn't a problem for a couple of seasons until some of the trans girls, particularly Carmen Carrera, spoke out. They saw it was like problematic. It was removed. Now it's like you can't really say the word. Unless, I guess, you know, it's amongst trans people either say it themselves or you're amongst your friends, as in the queers who are saying it. So I say all this to say, I'm not excusing her, as I said many times, I'm not excusing the behavior. You know, the tranny word was used in the 2000s and was thrown around without a care in the world. And in the past couple of years, because trans people have begun to get more visibility and acceptance in the media, we still got our issues with trans people getting unalived, you know, killed and murdered, whatever you want to call it, every day, especially trans women of color. We still have our discriminations that we deal with in society. But for the most part, we do see that trans people are having more of a voice, are getting more attention. And now it's seen as a problem. People don't use the word unless you're a trans person. You don't have a problem. You amongst close proximity. Why couldn't I say that damn word? You're in close proximity of your friends and you're in a circle, and then y'all use it amongst each other. If you're a queer person, and if you see people, I'm sure be using the word too. But that's a whole another conversation for another day. But I feel like, this is a reach because you're trying to dig up stuff from the past as an excuse to justify your dislike for her. But I feel like the real situation that we should be focusing on is her behavior, particularly on the set of this movie. The fact that people behind the scenes, there have been words coming out that saying that they don't like Blake, that Blake is a mean girl. And in that time when she was rude to that reporter, which I saw that she posted something. I didn't get around to watching it. That reporter that she did an interview with I think Parker Posey, she was talking with the both of them. And at the time, Blake was pregnant. And she said, the lady said, congratulations on your baby, on your bump, on your little bump, she said. And then she goes, congratulations on your bump. But then we kind of found out the reporter had infertility issues. Then she was asked her another question. I guess Blake didn't like it. She's been very rude and dismissive of her. She turns her body and she basically decides, oh, I'm going to have a conversation with Parker now, and I'm just going to ignore this lady over here because she made me uncomfortable. She rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe her hormones was going haywire or whatever the case is. Regardless of the fact, you got to be professional and you got to be respectful to the reporters and stuff. And the reporter held her composure. And I think she posted something on YouTube where she said, why my video went viral. I wish that we could just pull it up and watch it all together as a class, but I would have to go searching for it in my history and stuff. And I'll be having a lot of shows on YouTube that I got to catch up on. So if y'all could search for it if you want on YouTube, where she basically was talking about why all of a sudden her video went viral and she's giving her side of the story in the situation. But yeah, Blake, you have a reputation for being a mean girl now. And we should be celebrating the fact that they both have hit films. It's been a long time since we've had a Hollywood couple who both have hit movies in theaters. Ryan with this $1 billion grossing plus Deadpool and Wolverine, and her with this hit film that she has. So we should be celebrating that instead of her nasty attitude. And she's pretty much put a little stain on the situation. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all think it's a bit of a reach with everybody now all of a sudden coming out and saying, oh, she's transphobic because she did an interview over a decade ago where she used a derogatory word? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so we have questions. We have comments. Oh, I read the consonant stuff. You said they can leave Blake Lively alone. People have to stop bringing up old shit with people. They are too rich to be canceled at this point. Well, we'll see. I don't think you can cancel people. I just feel like I hate the whole thing, cancel culture. It's accountability. Have people be held accountable. And she needs to come out and apologize for some of the stuff too, but she hasn't done that. And so ever since the Me Too era, people are calling out celebrities for being entitled and abusing their power. And I feel like if you are abusing your power, you should be called out. But I just feel a little strange in the whole situation regarding, okay, we're going to dig up something that she did over a decade ago just because, see, there's a reason why we shouldn't like her, because she said tranny 15 years ago. It's like, that's a weak ass reason. And I love the trans community, but it's just like, come on, that's just it's a weak argument. It's one thing if someone continuously remains ignorant, but if someone says something offensive, but grow and learn from their mistakes. And why is it being brought up? And that's why I said we don't know today how she feels about the trans community or if she's changed her thoughts on that. And we haven't heard her in 2024 use that word. So, and I said, if she was to say it today and she's still ignorant, knowing full on well that you can't be using that word like you was back in the day when everybody was using it with Wild Abandon, and using perfect example, Christian Siriano, who is a gay man that was saying hot tranny mess. Like, and I was sitting up there cackling and everything watching the show, and he was giving my life that season. He was on Project Runway, and I was glad he won. But yeah, back in the day, we didn't look at the word as cringe. I didn't think about it, she-male being seen as a derogatory word when we watched Drag Race the first couple of seasons. Now it's considered a derogatory word. It's like when you learn, you know better, you do better. And we as a species are constantly evolving. And we know like there's certain words that, you know, we could get away with back in the day. We can't say today. R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and Bill Cosby got away with a lot for a long time. Hannah for a long time has had a reputation for being a bitch, and Blake comes across kind of snobby. Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe Ryan didn't get her pregnant again. I mean, she just had her fourth child. Plus, honestly, I think quiet as it's kept, I do agree that Blake is a mediocre actor. I've never really checked for her like that. Like, I didn't even care for her when she was on Gossip Girl. I was more about Connor Paolo, who played her gay brother. But it was like, in the defense of that quote, the reason they highlighted that quote is because of the word tranny was not treated and called out as a slur. Absolutely, it wasn't seen as a slur. Hot tranny mess, tranny was not seen as a slur. We didn't even know. Exactly, thank you. We even had a song called Tranny Chase. Is there tranny chases up in here? Let me make one thing, fierce. Remember that song? I like that song. But it's not because of, it's just a catchy ass song. And yeah, Rue had a whole lot of quite as kept. A lot of people felt like Rue was doing a lot of offensive shit when he had Shirley Q. Liquor on his songs, which was like a white queen who used to do blackface and dress up doing minstrel show type stuff. I didn't know the history of the minstrel show stuff, but now it's like you look back on it, it is kind of cringe. But we looked on things back in the day like that, and it's like it's funny when we look back on things when I was growing up. If I look back on the things I was growing up on and seeing and realized it is problematic today. And yeah, tranny was not seen as a slur. Now it is. And so people don't say it. The smart ones. Or the people with some damn sense and empathy. Camila Cabello is really the only case of bringing up someone's past and have successfully gotten them canceled to some extent. She's clearly not. Well, probably because she hasn't really grown up from a lot of the stuff she did in the past. And a lot of the racist stuff she was posting on social media. And then really just kind of like didn't really own up to the stuff that she did. Oh, I was a teenager. I'm like, sis, first of all, everybody is well aware of the stuff that they be doing, self-aware when you're a teenager. So that's not an excuse. And that's the perfect reason. The reason why people ain't checking for Camilla is that her music isn't that good. That's why she's not as popular. And she tried to jump on all these, she jumps on all these trends, but it doesn't feel authentic. I was trying to look for the word. And sidebar, since we talking about Camilla, let's talk about her ex, Shawn Mendes. Word on the street is he got 2 new songs and them shits flopped. Why am I surprised? Why am I not surprised? It's like, Shawn Mendes is cute, but he's just too fragile for me. And it's not like a gay slur or whatever, like I'm trying to say. He just feels real fragile. Like, I just do that to him and he's going to fall into pieces. And then plus his music is not that great. Like he had a couple of songs that I liked back in the day, but it's just like, do people care about Shawn Mendes today? I don't think anybody really feature him like that or care about one way or another what type of music he's giving. Like he's not giving me my life musically. I'm not checking for him. Child, first of all, I will listen to Conan Gray before I listen. And that's not a read towards Conan. I actually like his music and I'm hoping and praying when I finally get my damn schedule that I'm gonna be working his concert. I definitely want to see Conan Gray, giving shows. But yeah, I just feel like Shawn Mendes, child, nobody's waiting. Y'all can't be taking like so long to release music. And he released 2 songs and they came and went. They said in one of them not even gonna be in the top 100 or 200. Against who? Nosy Ho? Was that who it's towards, or is it towards that woman that accused him of, the essay? Because I'm curious to be like, wait, let me see. I'm not going to do the story now because I don't want to add nothing else to the docket. But if he filed a lawsuit against, they said that, because a new story came out about the alleged court documents from his rape case, saying that photos of Zia Abashe's bruises go viral after alleged documents from DJ Academic's SA lawsuit uploaded on social media. And watch when Nosy Ho get on her show. She'll be like, see, I told y'all I should be vindicated. Like this stuff out here that said that he was doing things to people. And she's mentioned him and Drake. Drake a whole child diddler. That was her words. And there was that. So I see there's a story about the whole thing. I'll look into it later on in when I'm done with the show. But it's true, but she also had a collab with all Black artists on her recent child. And you want to, not racist. I know, like, y'all be trying to get around the algorithm. The funny part is, that's what irritates me about the Black community too, that y'all don't care as long as the damn check clears. Y'all will work with a racist. Y'all will work with a pedophile. Y'all will work with an abuser. Y'all will work with anybody as long as that damn check clears. And I don't think that she's learned and grown from the stuff that she's done. I mean, maybe she has, but I don't know. I just don't get anything genuine from Camilla Caborin. They said not to blame it on astrology, but Leos do tend to be brats. Yeah, my father's a brat. I mean, not a brat, but he's a Leo. I know a lot of Leos. My father's a Leo. His birthday is tomorrow. Funky Doniva's birthday is today, actually. He's a Leo. My a cousin that's a Leo. My aunt's a Leo. My grandmother, before, she was a Leo. Yeah, I know a lot of Leos. That's funny. It's like Capricorns, Leos, and Virgos. I pretty much know a lot of. Also, I know a few Pisces, a few Geminis. And a couple of Libras. It said Shawn Mendes has been given Jeff Buckley cosplay. Not Jeff Buckley cosplay. It said the woman that accused. Yeah, I saw that I saw it because when I Googled Schmoogled, I see what it was. So now he got a lawsuit. I'm like, child, I don't put nothing past, that old big wide back chipmunk. I think I might know a couple of Aries. Is this? But I don't know. We'll see. Look, when they go to court, we'll just see like how it all works out in the end, if he's guilty or not guilty. That's why I was like, you have your stuff, and then we'll see. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Boy George and this whole Karma Chameleon movie. So, since it was announced last week that we are getting a biopic about 80s musician and icon, Boy George, there has been names and stuff that's been floating around. So, shout out to Variety for this story because they have thrown around a couple of names. One of them being Adam Lambert. So I was like, you know what? Y'all always trying to throw Adam Lambert name in the ring. I mean, look, if he's been getting around playing, doing Queen cosplay and doing a lot of Freddie Mercury songs and making lots of money doing it, then why not? I think he's got some acting experience. But anyway, so they said playing the main character in a biopic is a tall order for any actor, but taking on the role of influential musician Boy George in the forthcoming film Karma Chameleon seems even more of a challenge considering his multifaceted life as a cultural icon, fashion trailblazer, and the sound of the 80s. Now, as of this week, the lead has yet to be cast for the film, which is still in pre-production with writer-director Sasha Gervasi, who directed a film called Hitchcock. Millennium Films is backing the project. Still speculate. I think Millennium Films they do a lot of action movies. I think they also produce the Expendables movies, if I'm not mistaken. But they said Millennium Films is back in the project. Still, speculation has been running rampant since Boy George, who turned 60 this year, revealed that the movie was in the works on April 20th and announced the production is looking for a brave young actor from anywhere in the globe to play him. Maybe they should turn this into a reality show like Simon Cowell tried to do with that boy band idea and then put them through a boot camp. I'm always trying to do boot camps or biopics. Maybe that'd be a good idea for a reality show in general. Just like we doing all these biopics for boot camps. We just do a reality show surrounding it. So they said portraying a trailblazing Boy George will require a nuanced performance, one that balances the artist's flamboyance with the man's working class roots, his androgyny with his inherent charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, his super celebrity status, and larger than life presence with his boy next door accessibility, and his universal appeal, which speaks as much to the LGBTQIA community as it does to a grandparent. Now, at the same time, the performance needs to capture Boy George's wit, vulnerability, charm, confidence, and unthreatening sexuality among his many dimensions and gradations. As Boy George said in a recent ITV interview about who should play him, he said, someone who can see through the stereotypes of a person like me. I'm gay, but that's not the only thing about me. Don't try and play me like a gay. I'm a lot of things. And I think this is the overall situation that I've been saying for the longest in regards of just gay in general. The one thing I despise about especially when you get these straight actors who play us on the screen, you always think that y'all gotta sissy us up or play us with a little flamboyance, a little flair, whatever the case is. Like, not all of us are a bunch of swishing sissies. That, yeah, we are gay by the foundation, but there's so much more to us than the dicks we put in our mouth. I know it sounds me being graphic, but there's more to there's layers to who we are as beings, or as I like to say, homosexuals. So who should take the lead? Boy George lookalike Sam Smith and Sophie Turner often get mentioned in connection with the role. But in an interview with Smooth Radio, Boy George definitively denied that Smith will be playing him. I don't even think Sam Smith can act. So I wouldn't even choose Sam Smith. I mean, Sam Smith do got features where it could be like, okay, I could see Boy George in them. But no, I don't think they would be a good idea. I also don't like the idea of a woman playing Boy George. Boy George is not transgender. So therefore, I don't want a Sophie Turner, or even like, I know that we have Tilda Swinton likes to do androgynous stuff, and Tilda has played men and women and all this other stuff in roles. But no, I feel like if you're going to have if you're going to make a movie about a cis gay man or a cis actor needs to play Boy George. So they also said that but in an interview with Smooth Radio, Boy George definitively denied that Smith would be playing him. In reference to Turner, he said on Australian radio show Fizzy and Whipper, he said, when I was 17, I would have loved to have been her, to which Turner responded in a tweet from a since discontinued account, So Down, expressing her enthusiasm to play him. Now, one of the actors purportedly in the mix is the artist Youngblood, who shares an idol with Boy George in T-Rex. Though a rep for Millennium Films denies the 23-year-old is being seriously considered. Wait, who's Youngblood? Let me look that up. The name sounds familiar. Oh, I've seen Youngblood before. Aren't they a member of the community? Like they're non-binary or something or another. He's an English singer, songwriter, and actor. In 2018, he released his debut self-titled EP, followed by a debut studio album, 21st Century Liability. And he's 27, and he's from the UK, and he does like alternative rock, hip hop, and pop punk. I think I have heard of him. He looks familiar. I see he got these Union Jack grills in their mouth, but anyway, so getting back to the story. So they said the movie will probably opt for I'm Not There approach and have several actors playing different parts of his life. Here are 5 worth considering. So one of the people that they had was Adam Lambert, of course. So they said Lambert has been compared to Boy George from the moment he stepped onto the American Idol stage back in 2009. I will agree with that, because I've always kind of looked at Adam Lambert as like, you know what? I could definitely see. He did remind me of Boy George when I would watch him on TV. It was like he loves eye makeup. Boy George is basically known for wearing a lot of eye makeup. And then, he's always made references about him being a drag queen, even when he won an award. And they said now singing with Queen, he not only has the vocal chops to take on the role, but also the extensive theatrical stage presence. Plus, Lambert has had a personal friendship with Boy George for a number of years, allowing him one-on-one access to observe and absorb the cultural icon's distinct mannerisms and characteristics, particularly the 21st century era of his career, seeing that Lambert is nearing 40, Boy George's age in 2001. Well, I don't know how long y'all wrote that, but Adam Lambert is in his 40s. So he's not nearing 40. But I guess at the time when he went and was hanging out with Boy George and absorbing a lot of his mannerisms and influences and stuff, that's what he saw. The next one that we have is Ali Alexander, who is a modern day LGBTQIA icon who effortlessly switches back and forth between acting and singing with his chart-topping pop group Years and Years. Well, now he's solo because I guess Years and Years they went their separate ways, and Ali Alexander's just doing his own thing. So I don't even think Years and Years is around anymore. But anyway, I digress. So they said most recently, Alexander starred in HBO's It's a Sin, which was actually pretty good, which takes place in a London club scene in the 80s, and appeared alongside Elton John in the 2021 Brit Awards, performing the Pet Shop Boys classic after which the show was named. The qualifications and more should invite serious consideration from casting agents. Well, I agree with that, but the fact of the matter is, some people will say, I don't see Boy George in Ali Alexander. I'm not saying you got to be an exact lookalike, but can you embody the mannerisms and stuff of Boy George? To me, when I look at Ali Alexander, he gives me exactly what I see from, he gives me Twink. He's like the same, I get the same thing I get with Troye Sivan. Like, I know he's probably like in his 30s, but you still look like you're 12. So I can't see Ali pulling off that part. I'm still, with Adam Lambert. I just hope he's really good at doing a British accent. The next person they have on the list is Saoirse Ronan. Now I'm already going against this because I don't like the idea of a woman playing a male gay character. So it's a 4-time Academy Award nominee. Ronan shares her Irish heritage with Boy George, as well as his delicate physical features. Even if the talented Ronan bore no resemblance to Boy George, with her versatility, she can definitely present an honest portrayal of the game changer. This is particularly true for Boy George's younger years, as he was just gaining attention, first in London clubs and soon after on an international stage. No, I don't agree with that. It's like, no, if you're gonna have a man playing, if it's gonna be a gay man, it needs to be a man, like I said, playing a character. They don't have to necessarily be gay, but it has to be a male. The next one, speaking of Troye Sivan, is who they picked, because we were talking about him earlier. They said the multifaceted Australian musician has a confidence that belies his years and took a parallel path in Boy George's own. Adept on all manner of stages, be it a club or a theater, the openly gay Sivan is equally at ease on YouTube, where his arrogance, free self-assuredness leaps from the screen. He's got what it takes. And he's done movies before. Was he in that movie where it was like they were doing, like it was a conversion therapy film that he was in? I think Nicole Kidman was in it. And, oh my God, I forgot the actor's name, but he was on that show that's on, Apple TV Plus, Dark Matter. I believe he was the one that directed and starred in the film. And Troye Sivan has been there. He also was in X-Men, even though this movie was terrible, X-Men Origins Wolverine. I believe he played a young Wolverine. So Troy's got some acting experience. I don't know if I'll see Boy George in him. Like, if they were going to make a movie about Saw Cell, I could see him playing, what's his name, Mark Almond? I could see him playing him in a movie. Because he gives me Tainted Love tease with his overall aesthetic. I don't see Boy George in him, but if they can make it work, and since, like I said, Troy does have acting experience, he has done a couple of films, I don't think it'd be a problem. And last but certainly not least, I'm not really familiar with him, but they said Spencer McPherson. From what I know, they said he's from Degrassi. I don't know if it's on I don't even know if Degrassi was still on. Like, I haven't watched Degrassi since Drake and them was on that damn show. And Marco and all of them. That was the season of Degrassi I was watching. So they said Degrassi has long been breeding ground for young talent. The perennial Canadian series did, after all, produce Drake, and his latest discovery is McPherson. The 23-year-old has come into his own on the series, developing into an actor increasingly more at ease and ready to tackle the challenge, like stepping into Boy George's shoes. McPherson's fresh perspective, unfettered by too many preconceived ideas of the enduring icon, is just what the role calls for. So this is basically their choices. And I honestly, I was like, the only one I could think of, I was like, it's a toss-up. It's possibly between, I would think, Troye Sivan and Adam Lambert. Those are like my top two choices. I would go with Adam Lambert. He had to get a dialect coach and learn how to do the accent that Boy George has. But for the most part, if anything, I say go with Joseph Quinn. You know, I be trying to give Joseph Quinn a job with every damn body and everything. Like, he definitely, I feel like, could probably embody the Boy George role. Someone in that context. Could y'all actually see Barry Keoghan possibly playing Boy George? Because he's Irish. I'm not saying you have to be Irish to play the part, but I'm like, maybe Barry Keoghan play him, or maybe, like I said, Joseph Quinn could play him, or just go for a complete unknown. So I don't know. I just said, like, it's either Troye Sivan, Adam Lambert, Barry Keoghan, or Joseph Quinn, or an unknown. Those are my choices. But I asked you all this. What do you guys think? Who would you like to see play Boy George? If you have any ideas on who you could see, or if you think that maybe they should just do an open casting call and hire a relatively unknown. I don't see Sam Smith playing the part because I don't think Sam Smith has acting abilities. But Sam Smith does kind of remind me of Boy George in a lot of ways. I think in their similarities of how they look and how he was carrying himself and how he would dress. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have comments. Let me scroll on up. Felix says, I think Adam is a good choice for that. Kevin Davis says, Adam Lambert, yes, he can. Adam Lambert could sing. He could definitely sing. He could sing the house down boots. So I feel like, you know, musically, he could definitely bring the nuances of embodying him. And if the opportunity presents itself, I say go for it. Audition. He said, yeah, straight guys playing gay men, they always want to make them queenie. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said that irritates me about a lot of these movies. Like, you don't always have to make them flamboyant. I feel like Boy George was playing up the flamboyance in the 80s because it was like, but it seemed like it was a lot more open in those times. Like, you would see, you know, Jimmy Somerville was openly gay. You would see, you know, was it Soft Cell? A lot of the synth pop type groups were very much flamboyant. Who else? Erasure, you know, they were very much flamboyant and out there. So, you know, I think Culture Club and Boy George, they played, well, Culture Club was the band, but Boy George played that up. But I feel like maybe in his downtime, he wasn't just being like, you know, the Hollywood sissy stereotype. It's like you play it up as a character when you're doing certain things, but when you're behind closed doors, you get to see all these different sides of who these people are. And so, like, hey, girl, or I have them in Daisy. If you got a cute ass, I wouldn't mind the Daisy Dukes chair. They said Matt Bomer, Luke Evans, openly gay actors could play. Funny enough, Luke Evans did Taboo, which was a Boy George musical. I think it was based on Boy George. I never got the chance to see it. I wanted to see it. It was about the whole Club Kid era and that sort of thing. But Luke Evans does have experience being involved in some sort of way with Boy George. But I think that was around the time that he came out and then went back in the closet because his career started taking off. And then he was just like, okay, fuck it. Because people started pulling out the receipts. You couldn't really cover it up. And he officially came out of the closet. And he's still working. But I agree with Phil. Yeah, why are they considered women? And it's like, it's not, look, when people want, oh yeah, I'm discriminating. No, the fuck we not. First of all, he's not a woman. So why would you want a woman to play Boy George? Like, make it make sense. He did that movie 3 months with Ellen Burstyn. Oh, okay. And then you say, yeah, Boy Erased. That's why I couldn't remember the name of it. It was like Boy Erased. And yeah, I forget the actor's name that he's in a show, Dark Matter, on Apple TV. I know he directed it and he starred in it. I think he may have played did he play the therapist or something or another? I remember he was something. I can't remember exactly what, but he was in, Troye Sivan was in that movie. It said Troy played one of the kids in a group of kids in the conversion camp. Troy could play Boy George friend Marilyn. Was that the same Marilyn that was in Party Monster? That's what I wonder. Was that the same Marilyn? He said Degrassi has been off since 2017. I know because I used to watch it and was my fave show, the Netflix reboot. Yeah, I didn't even watch that. I haven't watched since the Drake season. They were supposed to do an HBO Max reboot. Oh yeah, I remember that. And then that it didn't work out. They tried to redevelop it, and I remember they were talking about bringing it back, but it didn't work. Degrassi was good for its time, but I don't see Degrassi working in this generation. I just don't think the kids care about scripted content in that way anymore. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. I did not know that Rick Astley was a homosexual. Where the fuck I been? Maybe because he always looked like Opie to me, so so I never really paid attention to him like that. And that month, talking about somebody that could sing. Yeah, he could sing his ass off. Agreed. That's why I was like, Gen Z ain't watching no damn Degrassi. Degrassi is a little too after school special, and I don't think they would tune in. That Euphoria is basically like what they would be more into, because Euphoria is a bit edgier. So that's what they would go for. But anyway, let's get to our final topic. Let's talk about Miss Chappell Roan, who is calling out weird and entitled fans for requesting photos with her. So Chappell Roan doesn't believe people are entitled to meet her despite her newfound celebrity status. The Good Luck Babe singer, whose real name is Kaylee Rose Amstutz, posted thank God she changed her name to Chappell Roan, posted a pair of videos on TikTok on August 19th addressing her fan behavior she believes is not normal. Now, we do have a clip of her saying what she said. I want y'all to hear from the horse's mouth. And then right after that, I'll give my opinion. Please.
I don't care that abuse and harassment, stalking, whatever, is a normal thing to do to people who are famous or a little famous, whatever. I don't care that it's normal. I don't care that this crazy type of behavior comes along with the job, the career field I've chosen. That does not make it okay. That doesn't make it normal. It doesn't mean I want it. It doesn't mean that I like it. I don't want whatever the fuck you think you're supposed to be entitled to whenever you see a celebrity. I don't give a fuck if you think it's selfish of me to say no for a photo or for your time or for a hug. That's not normal. That's weird. It's weird how people think that you know a person just because you see them online or you listen to the art they make. That's fucking weird. I'm allowed to say no to creepy behavior. Okay?
But you know what?
I don't care that.
I don't want to have her eyes looking like that. Look like she possessed. But you want to know something? It's no shame, but I'm going to have to agree with Miss Chappell on this situation. That I do feel like a lot of times, like, if I guess I'll say this. I've encountered a lot of celebrities, of course, in the line of work. Like when I work industry events and those sort of things, you encounter celebrities. I respect boundaries and I respect space. And I feel like, you know what, when it comes to a lot of these fandoms, they see their favorite star and they get so caught up in the matrix of the situation that I think a lot of times they forget that these are human beings, that someone like Chappell is a human being, and that now you at a point in your life where I'm a performer, I'm an artist, and I love the thing, and I'm sensitive about my shit. And then I like doing these things, but also I like to respect and protect my energy. And if I'm out and about, I don't want this person screaming and running up to me and grabbing on me and violating my space and bear hugging me when you don't know what situation I'm going through, or, some people, especially when you're an artist, a lot of artists, I can even speak for myself, are empathic, where it's just like that exchange of energy, it could be draining on the body. And so I feel like there should be boundaries that fans should respect from the artist. The fans should respect the boundaries of the artists that they admire. I don't understand this whole stan culture, the worshiping of these famous people, the bearing false witness or the worshiping of false idols, whatever you want to call it. I don't understand that. Maybe because I've been in been in close proximity with so many celebrities. I'm kind of like the wizard behind the curtain. Like you pull the curtain back and I see the smoke and mirrors and the BS for what it is. So I don't get too wrapped up in the situation. But yeah, I've encountered celebrities and I get that feeling over my body. Not the sexual healing one, because I said when I get that feeling. But when it was like when you meet people and it's like, okay, yeah, I see the celebrity. Hey, how you doing? Keep it moving. All this other stuff. You know, a lot of times I can't take photos because if I ask photos or take photos, whatever, you couldn't get in trouble. So y'all just gonna have to believe me when I tell you certain things. And I understand that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that a lot of these famous people get, but I do feel like there should be a compromise in some sort of way. And I get it, like Chappell, you're relatively new, that you're in the regard of she's new to the fame thing. She's not new to this situation. She had a record deal, she got dropped. Dan, who produced her music prior to Olivia Rodrigo, signed her to his label and helped her out. And now she's, blew up because she was an opening act. Who was it? She was an opening act for Olivia Rodrigo at one point. So it was like, yeah, because they're label mates. She blew up from that. And now this newfound fame that she's been working over a decade steadily as a musician and gone through highs and lows. She doesn't, and now it's all this fame stuff and she's trying to wrap her head around it. And not everybody handles fame like a Jennifer Lopez. Not everybody loves the attention and people kissing and blowing smoke up their ass. Not a lot of people want that. Some people are just like, you know what? I just like making my music. I like getting up there. I like making my music. I like dressing in drag and doing the hula. I like, I had to throw in the Lion King reference. Sometimes I'm stuff pop in my head and it's just like, I got to go with it. But I say all this to say, it's like, yes, like she likes to just put on her drag regalia, get on stage, electrify the audience, be that performer, put all of that on, like lay it down on the table, give her blood, sweat, and tears to her performances, perform her music, and that's that. She sees it as like a career thing. She doesn't care about all the other pomp and circumstance that comes with it. Unfortunately, sis, that comes with the territory that people kind of come up in that. Maybe she could have presented a little bit better because now people are going to be thinking, oh, she's ungrateful. She got an attitude that, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be where you are. And those other, of course, all that's going to come in and people are going to make those comments and say those things. And that's just something I feel like Chappell is just going to have to work out and come and figure out a balance with that situation on, okay, well, this is going to happen. And I understand she made her little TikTok and millions of people probably seen it. So they're probably aware of how she wants to be approached. But like I said, there's got to be a compromise somewhere. I feel like if you don't want people touching upon you and stuff out in public and following you and stalking you, which is kind of weird, I will say that there needs to be some sort of compromise. Meaning, whenever you do your tours, there needs to be a meet and greet. And that way you can interact with your fans in another way. So there has to be some sort of compromise. It's like, okay, I will give y'all this, but you have to if I give y'all a piece of this, you have to respect my space and respect my boundaries and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all understand where Chappell's coming from, or do you feel like she's ungrateful and she needs to understand that, what? Unfortunately, when you become a big superstar and you become famous, that all this other stuff, the people following you around, that you're no longer anonymous, and now that your life is completely changed, all this stuff unfortunately comes with the territory. You got to take the good and the bad, especially when it's very rare that people get to be out here living their dreams. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now speaking of comments, let's scroll up to some of these. Who is she? A singer. I said, then she shouldn't be in the entertainment business. I did see a clip of Billie Eilish being pulled on and some girl had her arms around her and some guy stole a ring from her when she got close. And that's what I said, you got to worry about these people because a lot of people be doing some snake shit too. Like you be getting people that literally trying to rob you. And I don't know if it's a way like y'all literally trying to rob them or it's this like you want a piece of this person. But yeah, I just feel like the way fandom has gotten, especially in the era of social media, it feels like it's become way worse because now with social media, people feel like they really know you and they have far more access to you versus when I was growing up, where artists were mysterious, where you didn't really know much about a lot of the famous people that you encounter or see on TV. People were criticizing Chappell for performing in red states, like what? And Missouri is her home state. First of all, I don't understand what people talk about her performing in red states. Here's what people need to realize: not all homosexuals live in New York, Chicago, LA, DC, Atlanta, Miami, those sort of things. Unfortunately, you know, there are queer people that live all over the United States, including in red states. And honestly, I think it's relatively brave for a queer artist to go to a red state and perform and give those people out there who don't have the ability to pack up and move to a big city a show and perform out there. And I'm sure she probably got her protesters, but I don't think she cares. So why would you? I don't get people that get mad at somebody for performing in a red state. If I had the opportunity, I go to a red state too and perform. Yeah, some fans are dangerous, but there are some who are just regular people. But this is why I gotta say, like, girl, get you some security, get you 2 big burly black men, and keep them, you know, keep them kids at bay. And so I would probably faint if I met Janet. Child, I'd probably lose my shit too. But you know, Janet just be all with her shy, bashful self. As I remember Lisa Fisher saying she didn't want the stress of being a celebrity, which is why she only did one album, went back to being a backup singer. Some people can't handle. Yeah, it's just like not everybody is equipped to handle fame. Not everybody is Jennifer Lopez. Not everybody has this giant ego that people like all of that. Well, maybe what they need to do is they need to sit down with Beyonce, but like, girl, how do you do it? How do you still maintain your mysteriousness? Probably because she don't go out. Beyonce don't go no damn where unless it's 40-40 damn club or somewhere with Jay-Z. We don't see her leave the house. And so it's also important to remember some people are introverts. Absolutely, because I would say people like Beyonce and Hope from Mazzy Star are rarely in the public eye. Like I even said for me, like even though I do have an eccentric personality, a lot of it is forced. Like me, I literally am an introvert who masquerades as an extrovert. I force myself to be more extroverted. When it's like, okay, I psych myself out. I'm like, okay, and it's funny how like a lot of introverts, we excel in a lot of the service industry. We work in the service industry. And I think it's because we psych ourselves out. Where it's just like, okay, so the reason why we have to be extroverted is because of this reason. Any other time, I'll just be in the house, quiet, minding my business, watching my movies and smoking my pre-rolls. But it's a child. Then what he doing with Doja Cat if he an introvert? Maybe that balance them. They balance each other out with that. That she's extroverted and messy, and he's an introvert. Beyonce seems like she's hiding. It's like she's locked away unless she's at an event or watching. Yeah, because I saw her the other day that there was an event, I guess, with some 40-40 club type event, and she was out and about with Jay-Z. In the 80s and 90s, you only got to know celebrities from interviews on TV and magazines. Yeah, and TRL, but like you said, interviews. Like if they popped up on a TV show, a talk show, or in magazines and stuff. And that was the only way we had access to celebrities. Now it's just like, it's a 24-hour news cycle. And they're trying to figure out how they can balance all of that. Roan says these newbies need to take a cue from Beyonce. She plays the fame game perfect. Exactly. So it's like Beyonce can teach a master class on how you can navigate inside the industry. You have a really strong foundation, because it's unfortunate. Like they don't really teach or train the kids on how to deal with fame or charm school and all this stuff. They don't do that anymore. Now it's just like, oh, you got a hit on Spotify and Apple Music and the radio. Shoo, I'm gonna toss you out in the street and fend for yourself. You can't swim, just take the body, throw them in the water, flap your arms, figure it out. Like that's basically what this industry is now. So Chappell has to really figure out how she can balance it all and make it work for her, because people are gonna, no shade, people are gonna come up to you and want your autograph. People are gonna come up to you and want to hug you, but you can't be like, ew, bitch, get off me. Like you can't do that, because the minute you start doing that, then you're gonna get that snowball effect of what they did to Jennifer, where it's like, oh, she was rude, oh, she don't tip, oh, she don't do that. And you don't want that reputation on social media that you're an a-hole. You don't want that, because it's hard to rebound from that. Felix said you only got to know what they wanted to. Exactly. And it's hard to do that now. But then, like we said, say what now? Hire a bodyguard and stay away from public settings. Hannaford filed for divorce. Please hold. Where's that at? Bitch. Breaking news, breaking news. We're going to turn this into a segment. Hold on. Thank God I'm live still. Oh, damn. I was ready to log off and be like, we ending the show. Hold on, because now I got to make the... I got to make the headline. Hannaford done filed for divorce. I can't believe it. It's like, finally we got it. But you know what? I feel like I'm getting ahead of it because nobody else is talking about it. Just like because it literally came out 9 minutes ago. And I'm probably going to have to like chop this shit up real quick and edit it into a damn segment. But now it's like, yeah, I got to make this situation. So I want to give a shout out to TMZ because TMZ just broke the news. Oh, police hold because they said this shit. There's no prenup. We want prenup. We want prenup. I should have known that shit was going to happen. Child, it's a mess. Okay, so let me hit this banner. So now they said breaking news, breaking news. So now word on the curb, they basically said no prenup and no settlement. They finally have filed for divorce. We all knew it was coming. We were just waiting for it's only a matter of time that they were going to divorce. And now it's here. You know, I also had to find a photo that I had of Hannaford and pull it up. So they say Hannaford Lopez has done what seemed inevitable. She's filed for divorce from Ben Affleck, TMZ has learned, but there are major twists, including the symbolism of when she finally decided to do it. Now, Hannaford filed legal docs on Tuesday, so she did it today, child, in LA County Superior Court, but they were not filed by a lawyer. Hannaford filed per meeting by herself and without an attorney. So Miss Thing went and walked her ass up in the courtroom and was like, I'm throwing on my Louboutins and I'm getting rid of this heifer. But child, I ain't got a prenup. So the question remains, who got the most coin and are y'all splitting y'all money? Especially since y'all got married. And did they get married in California? I know they got married in Vegas in front of the Justice of the Peace, and I think there was an Elvis involved. But there was also, I think they did a secondary wedding with the family, you know, with the big blowout wedding in LA. So they said she lists the date of separation as April 26, 2024. The couple got married in Las Vegas on July 16th, 2022. However, today, August 20th, it's also very significant in Bennifer lore. This marks the second anniversary of the huge and more traditional wedding ceremony they held in Georgia, at the plantation. So it hardly seems like a coinky-dink Jen filed today. I said coinky-dink. They didn't say that. They said coincidence. Now, here's the real shocker. Shocker. Let me stop fucking up the words on purpose and just be serious. Now, here's the real shocker. They said Hannaford does not say in the docs whether there's a prenup, and sources would knowledge tell TMZ there is indeed no prenuptial agreement, which you a damn fool. I don't care how in love I am with somebody. If I'm worth $400 million and I'm talking about Hannaford and he's worth under $200 million, because they said he's like worth, I believe I'll say on the safe side, $130 million. You best believe I'm getting a damn prenup. But look at you colored people running around here going hard for these white men, and look at him. He gonna clean her ass out. They said that would mean whatever earnings or profit Ben and Jen made during their nearly 2 years of marriage is community property. For instance, since they tied the knot, Ben starred in Air and Hypnotic, and he also produced The Instigators. He also just wrapped filming The Accountant 2 a few days ago. As for Hannaford, during their marriage, she had Shotgun Wedding, The Mother, This Is Me Now, and Atlas. What's shocking, this is Hannaford's fourth marriage and Ben's second, and you would think a prenup would be more than obvious. Apparently, they thought this was a forever marriage, and I think that is exactly why she ain't divorced him. She was like, oh yeah, well, this is me. That's what she thought, child. She thought this is us forever. We're not getting a divorce because I got my happily ever after. And now I ain't got to worry about it. And look at you. 2 years later, y'all filed for divorce. This is why I don't give a damn if we're going to be married for 2 days, 2 years, or 200 years. I'm getting a prenup. And you would think that Hennifer would be smart in that way. But she's in love. She loves love. No, you a dummy. And this will learn you. But then again, if this is your 4th marriage and you still ain't learned your lesson, you the problem. So they said, according to the docs, Hennifer waived spousal support and is asking the judge to deny Ben such support as well. Well, is that even a possible, especially when y'all didn't sign a prenup? But they said since they did not have children together, there are no custody issues. Now, for the big final twist, you would think everything has been hashed out money-wise before she filed, but our sources say it's not the case. TMZ broke the story. They put their marital home in Beverly Hills up for sale. Ben bought his own house in Brentwood, and she's currently looking for a new house as well. As was reported, they have been trying to hash out their settlement for months, and our sources say those talks are continuing, but they have become increasingly acrimonious to the point at times they're not even speaking to each other. So why did Hennifer decide to file when there's still a battle over money? Well, even though it doesn't matter, legally who files first is in a no-fault state. They said legally who files first in a no-fault state. Sometimes PR concerns are involved when it comes to who files first. So this is the beginning. We finally got a date, a point of entry that she filed, that she literally is going forth with it, which I'm shocked. I thought he would have did it. But Ben gives me very much like stagnant, like he just whatever dude, like he gives me very much that, like he just gonna go with the flow, whatever the case is, and that'll be that. And she's basically gonna put it forward like, okay, well, if you're not willing to meet me halfway, you're not willing to work this marriage out, I'm not just gonna sit around and we're just gonna be like Will and Jada Smith. We ride together, we die together, bad couple for life, or whatever the hell it was that they said. So y'all gonna be staying stuck in a miserable ass marriage to each other, living in separate homes and all this other stuff because y'all too damn cheap to get a damn divorce because neither one of y'all got a prenup. So Hennifer's like, whatever, I'll just have to take the loss and I'll just have to work my ass off to gain that $400 million back. If it does happen that, okay, because I don't have a prenup, that y'all do have to walk away or split, whatever the case is, when it comes to what y'all worked on post your marriage. She did a couple of projects, he did a couple of projects. Or if they could amicably walk away and say, you know what, I'm gonna let you keep your money, I'm gonna keep my money, we'll just go our separate ways, and that'll be that. And so I'll say all this to say, this is unfortunate. We all knew it was coming. It was just only a matter of time when we was gonna be like, okay, so when is the shoe gonna drop? And yeah, that's that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments. I definitely want to hear what y'all have to say about this whole Hennifer divorce situation. And are you surprised? I guess nobody's surprised. Look, not even Ray Charles, and he blind and dead. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, let's get to some of these. Roro said, come through, breaking news. Oh, yeah, you said, oh, arm's length. Oh, yeah, like, you mean like the drag queen, like something like that, where y'all kind of, and then, but y'all like a couple of feet away. But I don't know, you can probably say I'm gonna lie and say I got COVID. So that way to keep people apart. Yeah, I had COVID for 8 years straight. So we're going to take half her money. Remember when Madonna and Guy Ritchie divorced? He ended up getting $90 million from her. That's a good question. But you know what's going to happen, because clearly, even though Guy Ritchie had his own money, Madonna was the bigger star. Just like when you look at Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Yeah, Ben Affleck has a stronger resume as a filmmaker and a writer and director, an actor. Jennifer Lopez has way more money in the bank than he does. And that's because she has like 50,000 damn jobs. And all them endorsements, the acting, the music, the residencies, all of that stuff. So Adrian says, I know Ben's got problems, but honestly, I think she's the real issue. Every engagement and wedding, she's the common. Look, at this point, she needs to stop getting married. Just come to the term like Madonna, that you just a girl meant to be single. You can do like she do. You around that age, or Kylie Minogue, y'all gonna be forever single. Except, I don't think Kylie Minogue ever got married. And she never had children, but she put her career in front of everything, so she's good on that. And look, at least Danny was the one that had children. So at least the good thing about that is, even though you didn't have your own child, that at least the Minogue family legacy is continuing, because at least one of the siblings had kids, versus if you got a bunch of kids and none of them had children. It's like, how we gonna keep the legacy going? So, what was I even saying? Oh, so yeah, she is the common devil. So I feel like she just needs to be alone. Get you a boy toy. You know, you're in your 50s, find you a cute little 30-year-old, have him blow your back out, tell you how pretty you are, and then when you done with him, discard him, you know, just toss him to the side like Madonna do all her past conquests. Because once she get rid of these men, we don't hear from ever again. Have we heard from Brahim Zabat? Have we heard from Jesus Luz? Have we heard from the boxer? Even though this is recent. Have we heard from Josh Popper? I'm sure if we went by his residency, his little boxing studio, he probably up in there beating on the bag. But yeah, so they said she can't keep a man because of her ego. And it's like, sometimes you got to exercise that ego. Speaking of Madonna, and so I don't think Ben is going to try to get money from her. I think he just wanted their relationship to be over. Yeah, just like, let me go. Let me go. You go your way, I go mine. And we don't have to deal with whatever. Cleveland said, how long before we see her by next week? Watch her get a new man in the next week. And child, you know the people gonna read her down to the floor. Like, damn, she let her coochie breathe for like 5 minutes before she jump onto the next thing. She already be with she better already be with someone else, okay? But I have to say, that's not good on the children though, because you got Max and Emmy and then all this other stuff, and they've already gotten used to the family dynamic with, you know, blending the family with Ben's kids. They're all cool or whatever, and they seem to be cool and cordial, and now they ain't gonna be able to hang out no more. And then now you got this whole situation with, what was it prior to, when she was in a relationship with A-Rod and they got used to the kids and stuff over there with that too. Now you got this shit. It's like, ma'am, you gotta stop. I think them kids is all kind of scarred. Wait, who's endorsing Trump for 2024? Somebody sent me something, and I'll get to the rest of y'all comments. But hold on. Who is dumb bitch? Oh, Akbar V for Trump. Girl, somebody don't go knock them false teeth in the back of her damn throat. Don't nobody care about Akbar. So like all of a sudden now, a lot of y'all try to go viral for the sake of going viral. So now, you know, she be picking on Cardi B. She, you know, it's gotten a little old with her trying to be Nicki Minaj water bottle carrier, because Nicki don't need her ass no more. And then now you going into August Alsina, because August Alsina got something you'll never have, which is somebody that loves them. Child, your kids is still in the system. That's what that bitch need to be worrying about. And now she out here talking about she endorsing Trump. Well, let's see how well that goes for your no career having ass. Just like, let's see how it's going. It's probably the same way it's going for Amber Rose. Anybody checking for Baldy? Peasy head over there, Amber. And so she just need to give her cat a break and something. Earn another ring. It's like, look, Thanos, you got enough. I don't know how these celebrities don't get embarrassed being in these tabloids with their family, because they live for the attention. They love the attention. They like when you talking about them. It's sad though. It's sad and pathetic. And it says she was with A-Rod almost 4 years. Yeah, and then it was like, once that whole situation, you know, once Ben started love bombing her, then, you know, with that, once Ben started love bombing her and all this other mess, then it came like, oh, I'm gonna leave A-Rod. I don't know what it was going on in life. You know, allegedly he was cheating on her and all this other mess, but she finally just left him and was like, let me take this risk and go back with my ex, and then y'all get married and y'all rushing through. So I was like, what's the rush? It's like, at y'all big ages, y'all should have just took the time to get with each other, to love upon each other, to get to know each other, because it's been 20 years. Y'all could have just caught up, instead of the catching up being he throwing you on the bed and you throwing that ass in the circle and getting his penis moist. That ain't conversation. That's just fucking. And y'all should have just dated each other and really took the time to get to know each other past the whole, and then got married this year. Y'all should have tried to push for that just to get past that honeymoon phase. But to me, it just felt like she wanted to to prove the naysayers and everybody wrong, and just get in that relationship because it completes this overall fairy tale narrative of this fantasy world that she lives in. And look, it backfired yet again. Some people are just not meant to be married, and it's fine. You don't need to. You date, you be a serial dater, you date who you want to date, you hang out, whatever, raise your children, work on your career, and do what needs to be done. I just really wish that we could find out what the true tea about it, of what the real catalyst of why their relationship didn't work out. But I feel like all the stories that we've gotten over the years, like not even over the years, over the summer, because that's when all this stuff started coming out. The past 6 months, basically, since April. 4 months. That's probably why I feel like, with all of this coming out and all this breakdown and stuff, that overall, she's just a damn mess. I just say, just stay single, sis, and just get you a boyfriend, a little boy toy. She specifically, and it's like she loves the attention. I think it's also like an endorphin type situation. Like some people really get off on that. So I bet the love bomb wasn't as one-sided as she makes it out to be. Probably not. Could even Iyanla fix J-Lo? Probably not. And they also said, I don't think she's changed in the last 20 years. No, I don't think so either. I just think the ego is the ego. But when you surround yourself with yes people, what do you expect? Damn mosquito trying to get me. But anyway, they said, I would be so embarrassed if Hennifer was my mama. Child, who you telling? I wonder how Max and Emmy feel about having Hennifer for a mother. I really think the album and documentary was too much. Yeah, that was the beginning of the end. That was the beginning of the end with them too. The minute she started exploiting their relationship and he went on the documentary, you see his facial expressions and he would make his little side comments. And the truth is always said in a joke. That's how you knew from the beginning. And she give full tunnel vision tea. Like, when you put the little thing on the horse and it's like they can't, they don't want them distracted. So they, you put the blinders on so that way they focus straight ahead. That's what she gives me. She gives me very much, I'm just zoned in on whatever. I don't look besides me. I don't look behind me. I look forward. And you need to observe your surroundings. And I guess people could tell her that I think it's a bad idea. And she's not going to listen because she got to prove everybody wrong, including herself. She was saying it in that damn documentary, how stubborn she is, especially when they were trying to tell her, oh, sis, I don't think it's a good idea. You do this is me now situation. But she was like, I have to do it. I have to believe in me. I have to spend that $20 million on a vanity project that nobody gave a shit about. It didn't feel like it was for the fans. It felt like it was for you. How you spend your own money on something that only you want to see? Like, make it make sense. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm all for if you want to take a gamble and make a creative decision that is going to be creative and interesting and elevate what you're doing and give us something we haven't seen before. But it was just a bunch of BS and fluff. But I was like, really? Like, you giving us this? Like, we haven't seen this before. That these songs haven't sound like something we've heard before. That these choreography and the visuals and the glass house and all that stuff, like, we haven't seen these metaphors. And the metaphors wasn't even making any damn sense. Like, the whole thing of her working in the factory and the heart and her trying to stop. I'm like, what is this? This don't make no damn sense. And I got to sit here and try to figure out what this shit means. So it said, and seeing the fairy tale so publicly is why her projects highlighting Ben failed. People are tired of it. And not only that, but I think they have 2 movies that they worked on together that Ben produced. And I hope it's not going to be a situation where it's like, if I'm she on the red carpet and Ben got to show up and show, be there and produce the film and talk about the film. They probably want to do some Real Housewives of New Jersey type shit, which is put them in separate rooms. And have them interview and stuff. But it's going to be real awkward when y'all in them A-list spaces and they run into each other because Hollywood is this big. Especially when you're amongst, the A-listers. Yeah, Felix is like, people are tired of her. And I think they are tired of her. And then I've been hearing stories of something or another where they were talking about how she's trying to, that she's thinking about another tour or residency, and she's getting back to work and stuff. And it's like, I don't think people want that. People want to miss you. Like, we need a moment to actually miss you in the spotlight. And if she thinks by not working that means we miss her, that's not what that means. That means literally we should not be seeing you talked about on the blogs. We should not be seeing you in, paparazzi shots, citations on TikTok, all this other stuff. We see she's everywhere. She has not left our radar. Like y'all know, the shows that I've been doing this summer, every day, just about every other day, we have a Hennifer story. I was about to be excited to be like, today we finally don't have a Hennifer story. Until Roro broke the news that Hennifer filed for divorce from Ben Nefer. But anyway. So, child, we at the end of the show. I was going to end it shorter today, but yeah, we had to get that Hennifer story up in there because that was breaking news. A lot of people really have, I'm sure, like a lot of the other YouTubers, bloggers, whatever, already at work on their videos and getting them shits uploaded as we speak. So as soon as I log off, I already know I'm going to have to go and edit that one real quick to get mine up, so that way people can get the breaking news by Hennifer filing for divorce. So thank you all for watching. I will be on possibly Thursday to do another episode of Crystal Unfiltered. I'm going to be working tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to come on. But I want to thank everybody for coming in the chat and speaking on the topics. And then, yes, Onyx, thank you for giving me that story, because it definitely helped put a little bow on that situation. Because I was like, we were going to go out on a somber note with Chappell complaining about her career and the fandom. But it's like, we got to get that Hennifer story in. So, yes, thank you all for watching. And I'll be back on later on this week. Be sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Also, smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Unfiltered. Yes, love you all for watching. And yes, until next time,